the technology where we are looking at. And in future, when autonomous driving also comes in, frankly, you just have to tell your car to take you from point A to point B, and then all you are left with doing in a car is probably play a game. But of course, at a conceptual level, and still being worked upon. That said, I have a very short promotional film. If we could play that, just for a glimpse as to how do we promote it. Yeah.
Play the music. Legends run wild. Worlds is their battleground. Each one unique, with astonishing power. In a league of their own. Unstoppable. Master warriors. Ready to compete. Showtime. Seeking glory. We live it, we breathe it. We have each other's back. Battles are not won alone. Together, we become legends. Icons of a new generation.
Yeah, so that is how an integration of gaming along with the right set of product presentation was just one of the examples that I wanted to show. Coming to my last slide, it's basically now what are we trying to do here in India? So as I already mentioned, we associated globally with ESL, and the first event happened at Mumbai 2019, and unfortunately after that it couldn't continue because of the obvious reasons. But as I said, right now the audience needs to be little more in place for the luxury car market. However, we definitely see a future with online gaming, and we would like to think about this as a platform. As regards to a little different aspect and a different virtue for gaming. So what you see in the center, there is an image wherein a gentleman is actually teeing off the golf game of golf. We have a 20-year-old property called Mercedes Trophy, which is a corporate golf tournament for our customers and potential customers. Extremely top-end exclusive experience. And we had to unfortunately discontinue it last year due to pandemic. But this year we thought that we should take it at a different level and give a little different kind of an experience. So we have taken it online as in it's going to be a simulator where the customers will come to Mercedes-Benz showroom. They will play a round of golf, and the winners from there, they will be entitled to play on-ground tournament, which is a national final, and then they can further go to represent the team India at Germany. And this, for a golfer, it's a very big peg, or very big thing to look forward to. Now, why am I mentioning particularly this topic here is, though it's not a pure purebred online gaming, however, it is somewhere very, very close in the same area, wherein there is a physical interaction. Also, there is a digital interaction. And this is how I think a marketeer can make the best use of both of these environments. The way ESL was organized, wherein physically people were present on ground. We had our product displays there. We could interact with the people, and that's how we can look at. Similarly, Mercedes Trophy with its digital kind of an avatar, wherein we can get to interact with our customers. They can come, they can see our products. They will be hosted at the dealership, so that there is a product integration. At the same time, they can play a game on a simulator. The scores will be calculated online. They get their analysis, etc. So it's a different level, and it's a different thought in the similar area. That's the reason I wanted to kind of appraise the round as to what, as a luxury brand, we are also trying to do. Going forward, it's going to be, as I mentioned, it seems to be quite promising. as a platform that we definitely look forward to, and we would like to experiment here. Definitely, we would like to study the platform a little more, ensure that it's right now getting matured for the kind of target audience, and then we would like to venture into it. And as regards to our presence in terms of online gaming in India, as I already mentioned, it's right now it is limited to global tie-ups, extension in the local markets, and that's how we are looking at it. But yeah, overall, I would say as a marketer, I am quite positive about online gaming and its deployment in the country. So I think that's more or less from my side, and yeah, that's it. Should you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. And thank you very much once again for this opportunity and having us here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amit. That was a wonderful presentation. Unfortunately, because of paucity of time, we can't do questions, but we'd definitely like to thank you for your time and sharing these insights here with us on the first ever edition of E4M Game On. So thank you once again.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have one last presentation, or rather panel discussion to go for the day. But before we do that, we'd definitely like to once again thank our partners, without whose support this virtual event would not have been possible. So thanking our co-powered by partner InMobi, driving real connections, and our co-partner for the event, India Today. Let's quickly take a look at the audio visuals of our partners, and then we dive into our last panel discussion for the day. Can we have the AV, please?
Technology has always shaped how we communicate with one another. The wheel, the printing press, the Pony Express, the telegraph, the telephone, the computer, and mobile devices. Technology changes, yet one truth remains. We want our communications and interactions to be meaningful and have relevance. Today, however, driving real connections are easier said than done. But we help brands do that, to drive real connections. With our platform technology and exclusive mobile data, InMobi helps you understand, identify, engage, and acquire your customers. InMobi, driving real connections.
India is getting ready for its biggest esports championship. India Today Gaming presents Esports Premier League. 3 months, 8 teams, 1 championship. The battleground is ready. Are you? Do you have it in you? Can you be the next undisputed champion? Coming soon.
Thank you once again to our partners InMobi and India Today. Ladies and gentlemen, we are diving straight into our last panel discussion for the day, which will talk about the new world of esports. Chairing this session is Pratik Gupta, co-founder FoxyMoron and Zoo Media. And we have with us on our panel, Anirudh Pandita, founder Pocket Aces, Dr. Rushindra Sinha, CEO and founder Global Esports, Vineet Sharma, category director, Mountain Dew PepsiCo, Amit Doshi, Chief Marketing Officer, Lenovo, Ankit Panth, Red Bull athlete, and Sidharth Kedia, Chief Executive Officer, NODWIN Gaming. Thank you for your patience with us, gentlemen. A very warm welcome to all of you, and I'd like a moderator to take the session forward.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Can everyone hear me clearly?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, this is
okay. So I know it must have been a long day for everybody, but I think we're going to have a little bit of fun while we chat about the future of esports. I think for me, one of the things that really strikes out when we're talking about esports and gaming and the entire ecosystem is passion and passion points. I think passion has been something that has driven a large part of marketing and marketing communications, and passion is something that obviously drives this community at large. And I think with that, we have the entire ecosystem, which is here with us today. I think my voice is echoing. Is it for you?
You're getting some feedback, it seems.
Vineet, I think there's another a mic of yours that's on, if I'm not wrong.
No, I'm actually only on one connection, so I don't know who else.
Yeah, I think someone else is connected on Vineet's link.
Yeah, that's possible. Okay, I think it's better now. So anyway, so I was talking about passion and passion points, and we've actually got the whole community inside of esports here with us today. We have an athlete who's representing, the athlete side of the system. We have streaming platforms. We have an e-gaming company. We have the hardware side of things, and obviously, very importantly, we have the brand side, which is what everybody's looking at to get the money from to keep this community alive and kicking. So I think from that point of view, we have a very well-rounded panel of experts. I'd like to start this session by basically, understanding the ecosystem of esports, right? Where it is currently sitting, what it was about 5 years ago, and I read a very fun factoid which said the term esports was put into the Oxford Dictionary only as late as 2015. So it's been 6 years, but the fact that we're all sitting here with immense numbers is just testament to how fast this category has grown. So just want to understand where it was, where it is today, from everybody, and get a different perspective of where everyone is sitting at. So I'd like to start with where most of the money comes from. Vineet, you'd like to tell us a little bit about how you think the esport community is moving.
No, I think esports community, the gaming, first of all, I think let me pull back, talk about gaming. Gaming as a passion point, as something which has really grown in the last 4 to 5 years. And I think initially we had always, it started off with an online medium, but gradually, I think with mobile really going deep, that's when that was a big explosion in terms of, and once people started gaming as a participated in gaming, they were always a top up in terms of esports, etc. I think even for us as new, we started off with an on-ground event and started off with online, but gradually as mobile became big, we started expanding into, so we've almost grown 10 times from 2016 when we started off. So the participation, etc., has almost grown 10 times. So and personally, we feel that, in fact, we didn't do the on-ground leg for the last couple of years because we feel with the virtual environment, it'll be far bigger. And therefore, what we're trying to do is to say, how do we really take it virtual in terms of really capturing the billions of people which eventually are going to go on this platform.
So talking about the virtual platform, I think Anirudh, if you can step in and basically comment on, from being the founder of Pocket Aces, which is, was supposed to be delving into a lot of, fiction-based content and into that sort of a space. When and why did gaming come into the fore of what you guys are doing?
Yeah, thanks for having us here, guys. It's always fun to be on these events and talk to you guys. In terms of our own journey, it's been a pretty straightforward experience of having gaming become a focus area. I think as a company, we've always focused on where consumers are spending their time and how they are solving their boredom, where are they entertaining themselves. And I think in the last year or two, you've seen that massive inflection point of number of gamers, and gamers, not only hyper casual gamers, but also gamers in terms of people who play games like PUBG and Free Fire, these kind of games which really marry skill and strategy and are therefore fun to watch, right? Which was primarily PC driven earlier. So you're seeing those games really get that audience set, and that has also had a bullish effect on PC games also. So people started really appreciating what it means to play a Valorant, for example, right? So that has done really well this year. So I think when you see where people are hanging out, where they're next step for us, in fact, with the phone becoming the centerpiece of the entertainment experience, interactive entertainment or gaming and short video are the two big places which traditional media could not service, right? Television is becoming OTT, but actually OTT is not where you're spending most of your time. next phase of the Indian entertainment experience as you go from 2020 onwards, as phones get better, internet gets better, people just don't want to be dumb consumers. They also want to interact. They want to create. And I think you are seeing the beginning of a pretty large 10-year movement in that sense. And so for us, it was a very natural thing to be involved with.
Okay, talking about where people are spending time and enabling platforms for these people to spend a lot more time with us. I'll move this conversation to, I think, Sidharth and Rushindra, where you guys are creating platforms, and these platforms. I mean, I was trying to figure out how to define NODWIN Gaming, right? But it almost seemed like it's a gaming company that almost does anything. I didn't want to call it an agency, and I did not want to call it infrastructure, but it almost seems like you want to be sitting at the center of enabling this gaming movement in India. So where do you see this, Sidharth, and why did this become a centrifugal point of where your business was going?
Sure. So, let me give you two analogies to just illustrate how gaming has evolved or esports has evolved over the last 5 years. The first analogy is esports is like cricket. Started as a 5-day test match. It was a gentleman's game. Primary language of communication was English. Only the elite could afford to play, afford to watch. Going forward from a 5-day to a 1-day to a 220, where cricket got truly democratized. The first time that you saw not just Hindi but vernacular came in commentary across. It truly got democratized. Whether it was IPL, whether it was T20, esports has gone through the same journey. Esports was a PC dominion. The language was English. The affordability was Europe, US could afford it. India, affordability of PC gaming was always a question mark. But when mobile democratized it. So for example, in esports, the primary language of communication is Hindi now. It's not English anymore. English is not even the second language. It's Hindi, Bangla, Tamil. English comes a distant third or a fourth. So that's the transition that esports has had in terms of viewership, right? And that has predominantly been contributed by the mobile part of the things. The second analogy that I would give is the player participation. The whole gaming is good movement which has taken over, play a part together which has taken over. So 2020, for example, was really coming out of gaming and esports in a country like India. Yeah. So what used to be in dorm rooms, what used to be in closed doors, came out as a family sport. It came out as a family activity. And that was a huge shift that happened in 2020. And again, mobile has been one of the key contributors. And the other example is, and it's a funny story, 4 years back, I was at Viacom. Akshat, our founder at NODWIN, used to be, still running NODWIN. And he came to us and he was talking about media rights. And I asked Akshat, okay, what's the kind of viewership that you get? And Akshat, because if I'm going to buy media rights for something, I need to understand the viewership. Akshat said 50. And I'm looking at him saying, dude, you are missing the unit. 1,000, million, lakh, crore. What are you talking about? He said, no, absolute number 50. And I just looked at him and said, you've got to be kidding me, man. You were telling me viewership is 50. If you were not a friend of mine for the last 10 years, I wouldn't have even asked you for tea. This meeting would have been over now. He said, no, trust me, we will be 1 million viewers before you know it. And lo and behold, our peak viewership last year in some of our tournaments crossed 1 million. And that's the journey esports has seen in the last 3 to 4 years. And when you see that journey, that's why NODWIN is where NODWIN is. We have created the market. We have created this industry in India. We have created the esports media rights market in India. We have created some of the biggest tournaments that one can talk of. And Ankit is sitting right there. He will add more to that. Dr. Rushindra is here. We've all been part of the same ecosystem. And that's what I have to say as introduction. I think I'll let the others talk for now.
So, Amit, he's already segued to you, so I won't kill the flow. So, what do you have to say about where esports is in India, and how does that augur for your business as we sit today?
Hey, thanks, Pratik, and great to be with this panel here. Look, I think Sidharth and Anirudh set the context beautifully. I really don't have much to add, and we've also seen the ripples of that in our categories. We're present in gaming PCs. We also have presence in tablets, smartphones, And it's an impact that the whole category and we have as a business felt. We had to, in fact, as Lenovo was about back and the way it is now, it's completely different. Earlier, we would have a people who really experience gaming and are a leading edge, and ask them what is it that we could have done as a company. And that's how our gaming brand Legion was born. And in fact, we take a lot of pride that it was pretty much co-created along with the community. And that's why if you look at a Legion, it looks very different from everything else. So huge force behind the whole growth that we've seen in the PC category, not just in terms of numbers and volumes, but also in terms of how much an individual, a customer is willing to today pay for a computer. That table has absolutely gone up. One is this whole market where people want to buy specialist gaming PCs. But even if someone is looking to buy a laptop for their classes or for doing their work or running their business, this has become one of the key criteria. Will it play games? Will it hold up to what I want to, even if I'm not buying a gaming PC? So it's just become so pivotal to overall consumption of the device.
One of the very more interesting things that we've been noticing in the marketing circles, right, and we work with a lot of mobile phone brands itself, is that the camera was always the reason for a mobile phone to sell. And over the last about 15 odd months and highly accelerated during the whole 2020 2020 lockdown and everybody staying at home. The conversation for the first time, right? And we were really tired of launching new phones which had a differential of a camera which you could never see, but you would often speak about. Finally, the processing power, finally the graphics, the fact that you have a end-to-end display, and the conversation changing even in a marketing room or a product room of a mobile phone was evident to us in terms of how people are actually moving in that sort of a space. So Rushindra, how have you utilized this whole ecosystem of hardware, of brands, of content creators, and what do you see is where esports is currently?
So I think everyone else has set precedent really well. The gaming ecosystem really started off with PC gaming. I know the early days were in South Korea, but even growing up, even as early as 2001, 2002, I grew up playing Counter-Strike tournaments and then moved on to Dota. And it's always been about PC gaming, and that was always the biggest barrier. The entry barrier was the cost involved. An average Indian household didn't have a PC unless you either needed it, someone in the house needed it for work or for very specifically for gaming. That's the only reason that people would go out and buy PCs, because I think India skipped that entire generation and moved on to mobile phones. The rest of the world, everyone made sure that they had a computer in their house. But in India, on using WhatsApp and 4G data becoming so cheap, everyone went straight on to doing their business, doing their work, everything on their mobile phones. And then obviously the pandemic happened and then lockdown came in, and suddenly people started buying computers again. They needed a PC at home so that they could, whether it was for work, whether it was for school, a lot of people needed it for Zoom calls so that they could, so that their children could attend classes. And all of a sudden we saw this shift and mobile gaming became so popular, and that entry of barrier was suddenly taken away, where it was so easy, it was so accessible. Anyone who had a phone in their pocket could pull it out, download a game and get going. And with esports rising so fast, the number of tournaments, the number of tournament platforms, and just in general education and information about the esports and gaming industry made it so easy for everyone to enter in. And now that people have gotten into the ecosystem, they're exploring other options. So I know people who never played a game in their life that started with a game like PUBG Mobile, which was a great entrant into the space. And then from there, they started learning more about online gaming. They started learning more about esports. A lot of them went and got out a PC. Some of them even started their, started streaming or tried their own hand at content creation. So it became this really exciting space where people wanted to know more about it. They were introduced through mobile gaming, and now they are buying more hardware. They're getting a better webcam, they're getting better lights so that they can stream better. They're upgrading their stuff as they go along, but it all started with the mobile phone that was in their pocket.
Super. And I'll just take Sidharth's analogy ahead, and we've spoken to all the people who are supporting the cricketers, but now let's speak to the cricketer themselves, or I know he would hate to be called one, but Ankit, what do you think is the space that, that athletes like you, and I'm glad they call you athletes, right? Because it takes as much preparation, it takes as much time, and it takes as much effort to do what you do as consistently as what you do it. And how have you seen the journey over the last so many years, and how do you feel about it today?
I remember, playing for mouse pads, movie DVDs, and paying 500 or $1,000 for registering for a tournament, to playing events like ESL India Premiership, which NODWIN Gaming does. I've seen events, scam events where some Bollywood and some singers were invited, and there were teams from all across the world there present. One of the top teams at that point of time, Counter-Strike 1.6, and Moscow 5 was there. So, and that event was a fraud. So now there was a time where everyone started saying that nothing is going to happen in the Indian esports scene, and that's when NODWIN Gaming started doing legit events. And when it comes to us players, we were like, "Kaun sa event hai? NODWIN Gaming hai? Okay, let's play. Paise mil jayenge." Because that was the time where we had to actually save money to even get. I'm talking about myself because I come from a very humble background. So 500 and $1,000 was also a lot for me. Traveling to cities like Delhi for national finals, Pune and all these cities to compete was also a big thing. But now online qualifiers are there. You don't have to pay for tournament registrations. You just have to show your skills, and if you keep winning, then you'll keep leveling up, and then you can go and play LAN finals. But I've seen it happen in a very good way, but I still feel it's taking time. And also there should be a bit of consistency, is what from a player's perspective I can tell you. Now, yes, NODWIN Gaming is is doing some events. There was Duo Arena, which was like a prize position for us, because if we won that tournament, our name would come on the bottle. Now with brands like Red Bull also, we have started Red Bull Frag Out, Red Bull Flick. Then there is now Red Bull Campus Clutch for Valorant. For mobile, we have Red Bull Mio. So now there are multiple tournaments which I can show my parents and tell them that, see, it's not a one-time thing. Earlier, it used to be that if I don't win this tournament, I will not get any money, and I won't be able to sustain my passion, sustain my living. But now, after playing all these events, after doing, basically the jump in my career and the entire shift happened when I played U-Cypher. That was aired on MTV. After that, I started signing multiple 7-figure deals. I became the brand ambassador of Alienware, brand ambassador of Intel, sponsored by Corsair, Red Bull Athlete. That's when actually my parents thought, okay, this is not he's not joking, this is a legit profession. Earlier they used to think that, okay, he's maybe he's going to a gaming cafe and I should stop him. Why? Because they saw people were abusing, drinking, smoking, being aggressive, shouting. And till today, I don't drink, I don't smoke. So I took all their questions, because I knew if I couldn't convince my parents, this journey would have been stopped then and there. And the one thing that they wanted was studies, and I told them that I'll manage my studies, but let me do this because I want to represent my country. And representing my country was the biggest motivation that I started for, and I did that in Dubai. And after that, now when my parents see that, okay, he's a known guy in the community, respected guy, and he has fans, the brands are supporting him. Then when I came on BBC World News, that was an eye opener for my mamas, because they've done big they've done MBAs and they work for big companies. So even they thought that this is a one time thing, and 1 saal karega chhod dega, 2 years he'll finish it off. But now 4 years, 5 years, 15 years, yes, struggle was there, but the whole change started happening since last 3-4 years. And it's a good thing that now, we have global esports, NODWIN Gaming in Dew Arena and Loco, all these guys. Now we are building that ecosystem, which we needed from the start. I needed from the start, but we couldn't have it at that point of time. But now things are improving, I would say.
So, for me, two things that really stand out in a conversation, right? Like we, at least when I started getting into the whole advertising and marketing space, right? I remember all marketers talking about India being a one screen home, right? We spoke about how that screen had different prime times for different people, right? In the early evenings, it was the college kids who came back because there was the mother who was preparing food and the father had not come home to watch, either cricket or news, and then prime time, dependent on what the family was watching, determined what you actually consumed. But I think over the last 10 years with mobile phones, and I think we've all discussed this, there is no singular screen, right? Like we all have computers, we all have mobile phones, and we all have very, very, very different viewing and consumption habits, right? Which means that passion points that consumers are actually latching onto are also becoming passion points that they can do/consume, play, watch throughout the day at their convenience. And we've obviously seen a lot of things change in terms of these consumption habits, right? So one really fun factoid that that I read somewhere while I was researching for this was that globally people spend about 8 hours 27 minutes a week on gaming, and the Indian number has now beaten that global average to about 8 hours and 30 minutes. So obviously everybody sitting on this panel is doing something absolutely right in being able to predict what the future of esports is going to be, right? Obviously, as it's already been discussed in this whole over the last 2 days, right, is esports is part of the entire gaming universe, right? It's like what we all keep saying, that sports in India needs to grow, and not only cricket. So what is the future context to what you guys are seeing over the next 2 or 3 years, right? Because the pandemic almost must have come as a booster shot, no puns intended, to the vaccine for all of us, over here. But how do you see, the role that each one of the stakeholders, and I keep calling you stakeholders for this community because you're adding different dimensions to it, and are, while having your own reasons for backing the community, right, have a very important role to play in terms of where this community is going to go, right? So I'd like to focus on why is it important for this entire community to exist for what they are doing, and most importantly for how they're going to be contributing to the community to grow at large, right? So I'll take that question as a way forward into what esports is going to be, because I think that we've all heard and overcome the fact that the hardships over the last 3 or 4 years, while everybody was investing in setting this ecosystem up, will now start to pay dividends, right? But what is it that we're going to do for the community is what I would like to hear, or what is it that you would like the other stakeholders to do for the community is what I would like to understand. So again, let me actually start off with Sidharth, because like I said, I found it really hard to put you into a slot in terms of what you guys do. So let's take as broad a point of view, and then we'll come back into specifics.
So great question, Pratik. I think, again, we keep drawing from analogies from industries that have already grown, because we are still in its nascency. So if you look at sports, right? Sports, country after country, league after league, the sports massification happened because of distribution disruption. EPL was formed by Sky Sports. IPL is what IPL today because of Sony first and now Star, what they have been able to achieve. And of course, all the brands contribute to that, right? So if you look at the esports ecosystem is essentially right here, right in front of us. There is an Ankit sitting here. There is a Dr. Rushindra Sinha sitting here. We need many more of those. How do we get many more of those when on one side, esports and gaming becomes more and more of a viable career option? It becomes more of a viable career option because companies like NODWIN Gaming put up bigger and better tournaments, bigger and better prize pools, whereby both fame and money gets added to the lives of Ankits and Dr. Rushindra Sinhas. But at the same time, brands are extremely important, because at the end of the day, the brand sponsorships drive bulk of that revenue that is going to come to the teams, that is going to come to the players, right? So the brands are really, really important, both for the players, the community, for companies like NODWIN Gaming. So the brands have to pose more and more faith in the world of esports, saying, this is where we believe the future is, this is where we are going to invest in. However, like I said, distribution disruption, which means without Anirudh becoming bigger, without a loco becoming bigger, we can never have that disruption. And again, if I go back, Anirudh is going to become bigger because of the brand support that is going to come in. So brands are going to play a very, very important role in this entire ecosystem. Because again, if you look at IPL, while Star paid 16,500 crores for 5 years rights to BCCI, Star is going to recover that money predominantly on the back of sponsorship and advertising. Subscription is never going to yield more than 10% of that money, maybe 20% of that money across their linear and digital platforms. So that's really the future, right? The future is, and I very firmly believe in this, if there is one category that can give cricket run for money in the country of India, it's esports. And the analogy that I can give you is, we were at a conference last year where a similar company like ours came from Brazil, and they said, increasingly, the young Brazilians do not want to see Ronaldo play football. They want to see their friends play FIFA on the screen. Now, that's a massive statement for Brazil, because football is to Brazil what cricket is to India. So that's really how the future is going to shape up, and it's happening, right? So we have come a long way as an industry in the last 5 years. To add to what Ankit said, the first tournament that NODWIN did, our sponsorship was, mark my words, returnable mouse pads. Not even mouse pads, returnable mouse pads. We will give it to you, put our brand, after the event, give us the mouse pad back. That's where we started as an industry.
Those are some hard words, yeah. So like I'm fairly enthused by what esports has to offer, right? And Amit, before I come back to Rushindra and Anirudh and the rest, I would like to know, what does this mean for a brand like yours, right? Like you have two objectives. One is obviously to look at your business functions and what it is doing for you, and obviously the second is you have to also contribute in growing this whole ecosystem, right? Because it is cyclical in that sort of a format, right? And what do you see your role to be in moving this community forward, and creating the right kind of impact and building the right kind of infrastructure to enable all of this? Because I think that's a very important part that you're playing.
Yeah, that's true, Pratik. We see our role in two ways. The first is brass tacks. I think going back to what we really do, we want to make absolute top-notch infrastructure and experience for gamers. So it means constantly challenging ourselves and asking the customers, the community, and ourselves, are we leveling up? Are we doing the best that we can to adapt to what esports players want as situations change, as they want more elevated playing experiences, as game titles want very different experiences. So that's the first thing. I don't think we'll ever lift our eyes off that. I mean, it's akin to we've done a lot of comparisons with cricket. That's what the bat manufacturer would first do. I mean, are they going to be able to turn out absolutely high quality stuff all the time? That's one. The second is we can play a big role, I feel, in making gaming accessible. As Lenovo, we have presence not just in PCs, but in tablets, in smartphones. And again, PCs, it's not just about high performance gaming PCs, which are top notch in terms of pricing, but how do we build smaller gaming experiences at every price point? So that's one. The second is to find opportunities where we can meaningfully engage and intervene. And again, the problem is not very different from any sports sponsorship. Now, if you look at any sports sponsorship, and if you're a well-known brand like a Lenovo is or a Mountain Dew is, it's not awareness that you're fighting for. You're fighting for building the right kind of equity, the right kind of presence. And if you are like a new brand, you're still forming your bits, it can give you large scale familiarity and awareness immediately. But if it is not that, then it's really about being able to critically measure what's the return on investment for the brand. And if you're able to find that sweet spot in terms of finding opportunities and presence where the community benefits and the brand is able to transparently see the value that they're able to create for themselves, that would be sweet. Now, at this point in time, I think, and that's why I admire the work Sidharth and their team do, because before them, the space was extremely unorganized, as Ankit said, a lot of scam tournaments, and that kind of takes away from the credibility and trust. And over the last 7 or 8 years, I've and my team has learned from many odd experiences, some good, some not so great. But it's great to finally see that we're coming together and we're committed to grow with the community.
So I'll take ROI from there, right? Like ROI for business and ROI for the community, and who to better people to ask about ROI than Anirudh and Vineet. So Anirudh, for you, ROI is obviously the key balance between understanding what you're able to give to a brand and also the platform that you're creating for this game, for the gamers and for the esport athletes, in terms of being able to showcase what they have to offer. So how are you going to be able to maintain that balance, and therefore what do you think is the role of Loco and platforms like yourself in this entire esports and gaming ecosystem?
I think the traditional way of thinking about the balance pits one against the other, whereas actually it doesn't have to be that way. And that's, I think, the big difference that something like this has. Like, we don't mind if Rushindra is going to wear a Nike jersey. I think he's not going to mind, and his audience is not going to mind that, right? If he says the right things and he represents the kind of values that a certain advertiser wants, there's going to be no issue with that. On the same in the same way, with Loco, let's say we produce products from an advertising point of view that enhance your viewing experience, that enhance your interactive experience. You're not going to mind that. And I think we've seen that in short video content. We've delivered tremendous value to a lot of people in the advertising ecosystem. That's why they keep working with us. So for us, from a point of view, we think of advertisers as our partners who are going to work with us to make these things happen. And they're sitting on the same table as us. They're first-class citizen on that table. So is our ad team. So it's not like there's some other, this balance is, I feel, an old media point of view on how the world should be run. No product should, no ad product should be in Loco if it is not given the same respect as another product. And I think really what's happening is, I think Sid touched on it a little bit earlier. You have 300 million plus gamers in India today. 100 million plus gamers are monthly active users of these battle royale games.
Yeah.
We have not even seen this category grow yet. It's like PUBG, Free Fire. We're talking about 2 games. You're going to see a lot of games come out. You're also going to see India getting wealthier in the next 5 years. So again, PCs, consoles are going to improve. Mobile is going to explode, right? So you're going to start seeing the kind of participation numbers that are eye-popping. And the most important thing is you're sitting in your kid sitting in a 2nd tier, 3rd tier city where you don't have the kind of facilities in terms of, mall or something else to do, entertainment avenues. You will spend time online, not only as as an entertainment experience for yourself, but to meet other people as a social hangout. So social bonds across India are getting stronger. They're spending time practicing these games. So you're going to see the MS Dhonis of this world come soon. We have not seen them yet. I mean, I think, Ankit, you see some of the guys in the PUBG ecosystem, Thug or Ghatak or these kind of guys who have dedicated their lives to bringing the ecosystem up.
Yeah.
You're going to see the fruits of that very soon when you're going to actually have guys that, Vineet can really, really say proudly that, yeah, I'm associated with this person. And I think we're very, very close to that moment. And, you're going to have brands then see which kind of game they want to associate themselves with. If they want more casual fun, they may associate themselves with a Clash. They want more action, fast-paced action. They may go with you know, a PUBG or a Free Fire. Right? So they will start seeing what the audiences are, what is their point of view. They will find those things. And then most importantly, it's an entertainment experience. So again, borrowing from what Sid said, you're going to have the right kind of producer. For an IPL, you need an IPL to be produced at that quality. You
Correct.
need the right kind of players there. You need that credibility. Then you need that delivery. So those all things have to be done by us. You know, I always joke that Khan Market in Delhi was not built by one store. A bunch of stores had to come together to make that place a place worth visiting for a shopper.
Sure.
If you look at that for the audience, we have to build that. And we are doing that today. And I think we have not seen the numbers yet, right? I mean, if you're seeing kind of numbers that PUBG or, you know, with Scout, these kind of guys were doing on concurrency, it beats a lot of Premier League games in India. But
yeah,
the 200,000 concurrents is not a joke. No, not even, you know, the best content on YouTube, which is some of the content we've made, gets that kind of numbers, and that's high value, great production
sure.
content. So we have not seen anything yet. I think you're going to see much bigger numbers. And I think one really important thing that guys like Vineet and Amit are doing is that you don't remember the IPL sponsor today as much as you remember the first IPL sponsor. You remember the Wills World Cup, you remember the Prudential World Cup, because they took the risk when others were just waiting and watching and waiting for it to become hygiene. Cricket is hygiene today, right? Everyone can do it. Everyone knows it's big. But these guys are onto a secret. So you will see them getting 10x the returns of the guy who comes 6 years from now. And at that point, it will not be a choice. It will be a necessity that you have to participate in this ecosystem.
No, and also I think Ankit said that correctly, right? Like for him, the people who backed him right at the start of his journey, right? Like, I mean, those are the people who will leave back legacy, right? So, I mean, and it's always, I mean, retrospection is 2020 vision, right? But I think that all of you are sitting over here and like Vineet's brand says, "Dar ke aage jeet hai." I think you guys have already, you know, moved in that sort of a direction. So Vineet, for you, do you really think that you know, the massive statements made on this panel, right? Like the statements of like, you know, esports is the only, you know, we've always had this joke saying that India has 5 big sports: cricket, and cricket. You know, and do you think that that esports will break into this top 5? And you know, therefore create opportunities as a community from a brand lens like yours, and tap onto that passion point that I always know Pepsi wants to always be with.
No, I think personally for me, from a beverage brand perspective, on Mountain Dew, we do 1 billion plus transactions every year, but out of this 1 billion plus transactions, almost 28 to 30% of the people are actually people who are very passionate about gaming, and they do spend time on gaming. In fact, people who spend time on gaming typically spend 2 times the time that they spend on YouTube. As compared to YouTube, they spend 2 times the time on gaming. So therefore, clearly there's a very strong passion which is there. I think the opportunity is that it is right now extremely fragmented, and therefore the opportunity for brand to integrate from a brand perspective, I would love to integrate. For example, IPL is a very seamless forum. It's this thing. So the opportunity is there to say, if we can get an equivalent of an IPL or equivalent of a platform which is created, which has the numbers, because the numbers are there for gaming as a system, as an ecosystem, but they are all fragmented very much. So that's the opportunity to see if someone can bring it all together on a single platform. That can be very powerful. For example, for us, if the Dar Ke Aage Jeet philosophy, in gaming, there's a genre of gaming which is about, let's say, competitive sports, and people do say that suddenly there are too many people when the space is going down, there are too many people surrounded, and therefore there's fear that I might die. And then there's an opportunity to get integration of your philosophy with that gaming. But I think that it's an opportunity waiting to be taken. It's just about getting the right aggregation of the platform. The numbers are clearly there on the overall system.
So Rushindra, do you think that we have the infrastructure today, you know, to create this platform, right, that brings Ankit and brings, you know, like Vineet, and brings the viewers, right, which are the consumers of all of the products that we're trying to push to them all together? And you know, what do you see is the contribution of a platform like yours in the future? And you know, where do you see the numbers grow? Where do you see your contribution? Where do you see your investments coming in over the next 2 to 3 years?
So obviously there are a lot of questions in there. So I'll begin with firstly, I think Sidharth and Anirudh really covered a lot of the points as well as Amit and Vineet. I think from a sponsorship perspective, it's going in the right direction. Obviously, it could be a lot better. What's happened is over the last few years, we have evolved to the point where now it's not if gaming will grow and if esports will grow, but when.
Sure.
We're already seeing this tectonic shift happen where younger consumers, especially those below the age of 20, 21, would rather play a video game and would, focus their energy on playing a game at home as opposed to, watch something like Netflix. I think I read somewhere beautifully, Netflix says that their biggest competitor is not Hulu or Star or any of the other OTT platforms. It's a game like Fortnite, because if all the kids are spending all their time playing video games, they're not going to watch, they're not going to watch TV shows or movies on an OTT platform, because playing a video game is a lot more engaging and there's a lot more that they can do. It's a lot more interactive, especially during the pandemic. We use this line a lot that gaming brought back the social and social distancing. So I know friends, families, a lot of people that got together using using gaming as a platform in general. And the good thing about that is it didn't really require any marketing. No one had to go out and say, here, play this game, it'll help you pass your time. It's something that happens so organically and passively that people go out and start seeking games and start seeking places where they can kind of not necessarily but escape from reality to a certain point. And we have seen that happen, obviously, especially over the last 1 year when people are locked in their homes. We've seen that that habitual change and that habit formation. Now when these people grow up, their kids and their families are going to just spend more time playing video games. It's like how with people of my generation, we grew up watching cricket, so that's what we wanted to play, that's what we wanted to see, that's what we connected to and related to in terms of sports. 10 years from now, today's generation of kids are going to only connect to esports. They're going to connect to, say, a Valorant game, a PUBG game, and not going to connect to tennis or golf or cricket as much. So it's just an eventuality. We're already seeing that happen with hundreds of millions of gamers, not just in India, but across the globe. We're seeing that shift happen, and it's just a matter of time. I think all the people that got in early, whether it's the sponsors, whether it's the esports organizations like us, whether it's players like Ankit, platforms like what NODWIN and Loco are trying to create, all the people that got in early are really going to see the ROI, so to speak, and are going to be at the advantageous end of being at the top of the wave while it's happening, while everyone else is going to have to play catch up.
So Ankit, I've asked everybody what they're going to do. I think with you, I'll ask, what do you want? Because the rate at which these people have spoken, I think, if nobody else, I think you have the best seat in the house, right? Like, and as an athlete, and since all sports are touted nowadays to really spoil the athletes, I'd like to ask you a question. How would you like to be spoiled, sir?
I would like to be spoiled by having more tournaments, I feel, and having a chance to represent our country on the international platform. We need more of such tournaments because that's what drives an athlete. I started because I wanted to hold that flag on an international stage. So I think more events and a bit of prize pool should be increased, because in India I don't feel an athlete can only depend on the tournament winnings, because you can't predict which tournament you're going to win. The competition is rising. Sometimes you'll win, sometimes you will lose. And if that was the case in my scenario, my parents wouldn't have allowed me to pursue this till now. Thanks to the brands who are supporting me, and thanks to the events that are happening. So consistently, slowly from playing one event to having ESL India Premiership like thrice in a year. Now we slowly have more events. Valorant has actually helped the scene a lot. After PUBG Mobile gone, Valorant picked up, and all the influencers, all the PUBG Mobile guys, they started playing Valorant. So that got a lot of eyeballs rolling towards that game, and it picked up. So more tournaments, more tournaments where we can represent our country, and a little bit of increased prize pool, and the consistency of all of these things would definitely help.
I'd like to actually ask you another question, right? Like, there's also a certain kind of a responsibility that you will have towards the athletes who are actually coming into the system as well, right? Because I think Sidharth said this correctly, and everybody touched upon it, is that the importance or the growth of this ecosystem will also depend on the quality of athletes and the people that we can actually rally behind, right? So again, going back to the cricket analogy, there was a couple days, there was Sunil Gavaskar, there was Sachin Tendulkar, there is now Virat Kohli and MS Dhoni or Rohit Sharma, right? And I think that the evolution of these athletes has also coincided with the evolution that cricket has taken in this country, right? Because they have become demigods, they have become people that people aspire to be. So, as a person who's sitting right on top of this food chain, Ankit, what do you think are your responsibilities towards representing this athlete community and also nurturing this athlete community as you go along?
So that has started happening, I would say. I'm not bragging about myself, but I have seen, people touch my feet at events. I've seen people put my pictures in their home temple. I've seen people get their parents to, meet me. Earlier, I used to get scared कि अब पढ़ने वाली है because I'm a gamer and they're going to say you're spoiling my child. What is this nonsense? But at Intel ESL1, there was a beautiful thing that happened. Parents were standing in a queue. When the chance came, they spoke to me for like 15-20 minutes, and his dad was like, my son used to follow Virat Kohli, Lionel Messi, and now he says I want to become like Ankit Venampan just because of you. He has joined the gym. He has he used to use a lot of slang language. He has stopped that, and I'm proud that you have inspired him. I used to think that all gamers are kind of very aggressive, and my son shouldn't pursue this, but after seeing you, talking to you, you have changed my thinking, and I'm glad that he has taken you as an inspiration. I'm fully going to support him. He wanted a PC, now I'm going to get him one. So that is the kind of thing I've started doing, that you are not going to become in just one day. You're not going to become an esports athlete by just forcing your parents to get you a PC. It takes years of hard work. Yes, you might see that I'm wearing this cap, I'm a Red Bull athlete, I'm the brand ambassador of Alien with Dell, and so many brands are sponsoring, but it has took me a lot of time to get all these things. So you have to prepare yourself, you have to balance life, and you have to also understand that being in this industry, you have to do things like you need passion, and you have to be very very hardworking, because it's not going to be like a single short thing like where you won one match and you're going to get a lot of sponsors. It doesn't happen. It doesn't work that way. So that's what I'm telling all my fans, and I'm trying to from my experiences make them understand these things.
So I think there's only one question that beckons now, I think, which is I think we have all the ingredients to make a really successful, bull run in the, in the esports and esports space, right? And I think we have a fairly great representation of all the people and all the platforms and all the athletes who are going to contribute towards this. However, a large part of the success of an ecosystem or a community depends on just one question, right? How do we work together? Because we may try and achieve a lot of things in silos, but the ability for people like yourselves on this panel to come together, work with each other, and just very quickly, before we wrap up and before we just give out closing remarks, I'd just like, probably 2 lines from each of you of, how you would like for a lot of people to work together to make this, work like a well-oiled machine that it is slated to be, right? Like the only difference between, in my opinion, the success of this now or later is the ability for all of us to sit here and work together. So, just very quick 2 lines on that, and then, I'll try and wrap up. So, let's start. Sidharth, you've been waiting very patiently, but please go for it.
I think, Pratik, the mantra is really what the digital economy has shown to the world, right? So before the digital economy, the world was siloed into, I am a provider, I am a customer, I am a processor, but that has all blurred. Everyone is now playing multiple roles. I am a consumer and a supplier at the same time. So I think really the key to success of this industry is collaboration. We need to be very clear of what we bring to the table and collaborate with each other rather than trying to do everything ourselves. And I think that's how we are going to grow. We will grow together by collaborating, not by competing with each other.
Rushindra, you want to add to that?
No, I think what you said is absolutely right. What a lot of people we saw early on in the industry tried to do was everyone was fighting for the bigger piece of the pie, while I think now the players in the ecosystem are realizing that it makes more sense in trying to grow the pie rather than fighting for the existing 100 million gamers. Let's all work together and find out how we can get to 1 billion gamers, and then automatically, obviously, everyone does get a bigger piece of the pie. So right now, I think all the focus, at least what we have seen in the last few months, or rather the last year and a half, 2 years, the entire focus of of the ecosystem has been towards growing it, getting more people involved, whether it's in the form of content, whether it's in the form of bigger tournaments, making it more accessible, getting international orgs to India, working with sponsors. I think the entire ecosystem as a whole, all the players at the top of the food chain, thankfully have now started working together. And it's just, I think the gaming industry for the next 3 to 5 years in India is going to be absolutely brilliant, and we're going to leave a lot of the Western countries behind. We have a head start, especially when it comes to mobile, and we should really take advantage of that and go forward.
I think we have a head start on the basis of population, actually. But
that as well.
and I don't think they'll ever catch up on that number. But I think for me, what is most important is the fact that while this ecosystem is asking everybody to work together, I think that there's one stakeholder that that we all have to work with, right? And which is where I'll get the next 3 comments in, which is regulations. The government and regulatory bodies, right? Because that will also determine the pace at which this industry will grow or slow down, or however we see it, right? So so while we're talking about the collaboration, Amit, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you would like for this to be formalized?
Look, one of the examples that all of us have seen in the marketing industry or industry per se in the last few years is mutual fund Sahi Hai. And that was an amazing example of how players across came together and build awareness for the category and remove even some of the stigma that that may have been there, or barriers that may have been there. I think we need time is right for a formal structure to be in place. And as much as we may not enjoy the bureaucracy or the red tape or the lack of speed that comes with it, we need structure. We need a certain formalization, and it is like you said, a multi-sectoral problem. Many people have to come together to be able to do it, and then build positive stories, positive role models. We need more people like Ankit. We need Ankit to go out to more people, and that's how I think we're going to have a breakout.
Anirudh?
Yeah, I think there are 3 really important things that we all have to do. One is to realize what time it is, right? Is it a time to invest, or is it time to harvest? And it's time to invest. So I think that people should, we cannot bear the fruits of something that we've not put the hard work in for. And there will be capital put in. We've put in one of the largest checks in this ecosystem in the last year, and we'll continue to do that. Second is, I think, not forgetting who this is for. It's for the audiences and it's for the players. So putting them first, recognizing what their interests are, protecting them, and giving the best entertainment to the audiences, the best way to interact, the best way to express themselves. That is really, really important. We forget that in the larger scheme of things. If you have that as a mission, I think that's important. And from the government side, I think we need clarity. We don't need too much governance. We just need some simple clarity, right? Real money gaming is not esports. It's a very simple. It doesn't require a scientist to know that, right? What is esports? How are we going to protect people? How are we going to protect players? And that's it. We just need simple rules. And what those rules are, the government should put out, and we will follow those rules. But we don't need too many rules, just simple clarity for all of us to operate in. And I think you will see, we'll bring back medals at multiple games in the next decade.
Vineet, how would you see, like the participation of everybody to make this, the best branded product out there for you and for your brand?
I think it starts with the consumer for me, for everyone, in fact. I think we have to find ways to elevate the consumer experience, both for people who play and both for people who view, as Anirudh said. It's almost like cricket, with the example which Sidharth gave initially. We started off with a 5-day test matches. Then we went down to a 1-day matches, and eventually went down to T20. While all these changes have happened, I think the viewership increased, the interest increased, and therefore it was also elevating the consumer experience to say, I don't have so much time, give me that excitement of that thing in this thing. So I think it has to be started. Gaming as an ecosystem has to become big, where we elevate the consumer experience, giving people what they want, and elevate it to a level where it does more than just sort of vicarious participation. So I think it's about really fundamentally looking at it and saying, how can we give the best experience for the players on one side and for the viewers on the other side?
Ankit, what about you?
These guys summed it up perfectly. Like government, simple rules, and once they announce that, then it will help us to convince our parents more easily that see, this is government recognized. Earlier, when I started it, they thought I was gambling in a dark cafe where computers are there. They didn't understand computers, they didn't understand machines. So one thing would definitely help where government say that this is esports, they are our athletes, we have an Indian team, and they are representing our country maybe in Olympics or Asian Games.
So I mean, I think that like for me, I started off this whole panel by saying that the one thing that really strikes out when we are chatting or when we are looking at this entire industry is passion, and how passion percolates through any sort of a barrier that you put in front of it. I think we've got a booster shot in terms of the lockdown and the pandemic. The hardware is setting in. Our ability to create content around gaming, our ability to consume content from a consumer point of view, whether it becomes technologies that are enabling it, whether it's internet speeds, whether it's mobile phones, and also the cost of entry, right, or just the ability for a lot more people to access and to want to be this, seems like a passion that cannot be controlled by most external factors, right? So while we've spoken about what we think we are at today, personally for me, after this panel, the future seems a lot more bright. But one of the things that I'll take out of this is that we got to recognize all the stakeholders that are being represented on this panel, and the importance of all of these stakeholders to actually work together to give a truly consumer-focused experience that will then bring back to the community what the community actually deserves, right? Which is the name, fame, glory, and the fans and the fan glory that comes with it. Because I think that we're all at a time where if we play this correctly as an ecosystem, we can really propel this into, like I said, becoming one of the top 5 sports in this country. And yeah, thank you so much, everybody. I think everybody gave a very honest point of view on where they are at, and I think the stories came together fairly well to create this narrative of what the future of esports looks like. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pratik, for steering this really interesting conversation. And thank you to all our panelists for your time and sharing your insights with us. I'm sure all those startup gamers, the new gaming companies, and even all the stakeholders have taken some great takeaways from this conversation. So once again, we'd like to thank all of you for your time. This is the inaugural edition of Exchange for Media's online gaming summit, E4M Game On. We thank all our speakers, partners, and of course, you, our viewers. We'd like to gamify this initiative next year, but we hope that you have enjoyed this 2-day summit. And if you'd like to share any insights with us, do tweet to us using the hashtag E4MGameOn. Once again, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And we'd like to see you next year again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Yo. What's up? Hope आप लोग को अच्छा लगा panel. Now, questions. बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन थे बहुत लोगों के पास, तो अभी जो भी क्वेश्चंस है, एक सेकंड, माइक चल रहा है? हाँ, माइक चल रहा है। अभी जिसके भी जितने भी क्वेश्चंस है, फटाफट चैट में क्वेश्चन स्पैम करो, बिकॉज अभी मैं सिर्फ बैठ के क्वेश्चन आंसर करने वाला हूँ। क्या यार, पैनल में भी नहीं करने देते। जो भी क्वेश्चंस है अभी दिल से पूछो, अभी एकदम फुर्सत में है, अभी कोई टेंशन नहीं है, अभी पूछो जो भी क्वेश्चंस है, जिसको भी पूछो। ये पैनल था बाय E4 एक्सचेंज मीडिया, द पैनलिस्ट। एक सेकंड में पूरी लिस्ट पढ़ लेता हूँ, सो आई एम नॉट मिसिंग एनीवन आउट। कहाँ गया मेरा? हाँ, so the main session chair was Mr. Pratik Gupta. He is the founder of FoxyMoron. So FoxyMoron is one of the top marketing companies in India. फिर थे Mr. Anirudh Pandita. He is the founder of Pocket Aces. Pocket Aces is they acquired Loco. So Loco comes under Pocket Aces, जो streaming platform है. फिर Mr. Vineet Sharma, who is the category director for PepsiCo. तो जो Mountain Dew Arena होता है, that is, he is responsible for that. फिर Mr. Amit Doshi, he is the chief marketing officer at Lenovo, the laptop brand, and obviously they do a lot more than laptops, gaming peripherals उनके काफ़ी सारे हैं. फिर Ankit, जिनको अगर नहीं जाते हो, he is लिटरली द पोस्टर चाइल्ड फॉर ई स्पोर्ट्स एंड गेमिंग इन इंडिया. ही इज अ रेड बुल एथलीट एंड पिछले 10 साल से वो इंडस्ट्री में है. मिस्टर सिद्धार्थ केडिया जो नॉडविन गेमिंग के CEO है, और ऑब्वियसली मैं. दैट वाज अ पैनल. अभी चलो एक एक करके मैं क्वेश्चंस बोलता. वेयर इज एमी? एमी यहाँ एकदम यहाँ ये दीवार के उस पार है, प्रोडक्शन कर रहा है. ही इज गोइंग टू जंप इन वेरी सून, डू नॉट वरी. अभी 1K लाइक्स हो गए तो मैं मोहित और एमी को भी बुला लूंगा, बट एटलीस्ट तब तक सारे क्वेश्चंस आंसर कर लेता हूँ. ओ भाई स्पैम चालू हो गया. नहीं करो करो, जी भर के स्पैम करो भैया. हाउ कैन वी ज्वाइन ई स्पोर्ट्स? मैंने एक वीडियो बनाया है जो यही चैनल पे, हाउ टू ज्वाइन एनी ई स्पोर्ट्स ऑर्ग. वो वीडियो चेकआउट करो एंड इफ यू फॉलो ऑल द स्टेप्स इन दैट वीडियो, आई थिंक आपके चांसेस बहुत एपिक होंगे. क्या मुझे जर्सी मिल सकता है? जर्सी ड्रॉप हम करने वाले हैं, अभी तक फाइनलाइज नहीं किया है कब कैसे, बट ये वाला तो ऑब्वियसली एक हमारा वर्ल्ड कप जर्सी है. वी हैव अ फ्यू डिफरेंट एडिशंस, तो कुछ ना कुछ करेंगे ही. CODM रोस्टर प्लान्स फॉर जी अभी तक तो नहीं. आई थिंक CODM का सीन बहुत अभी नेसेंट है, बहुत ही अभी रॉ है. देयर स्टिल अ लॉट दैट वी कैन डू सीन बढ़ाने के लिए. एक टाइम सीन वो लेवल पे ले आए, फिर हम टीम लेने की सोचेंगे. नेक्स्ट वैलोर टूर्नामेंट प्राइस. ओके सो हम एक अनाउंसमेंट करने वाले, मैं उसके बारे में ज्यादा लीक्स नहीं दूंगा, बट इन द नेक्स्ट फ्यू डेज एक एपिक वीडियो आने वाला है. यू ऑल विल रियली एंजॉय इट. जिन्होंने भी पूछा है अबाउट द कंटेंट क्रिएटर ट्राई आउट, जो पूछ रहे हैं अबाउट द ओपन ट्राई आउट, अबाउट एवरीथिंग, सारे सवालों का जवाब मिल जाएगा. एंड हम एक बहुत बड़ा टूर्नामेंट भी ऑर्गेनाइज करने वाले हैं, उसकी अनाउंसमेंट बहुत ही जल्द आने वाली है. आई थिंक वीडियो रेडी हो चुका है, या तो ये वीकेंड या अर्ली नेक्स्ट वीक आ जाएगा. फिर देयर शुड बी टीवी ब्रॉडकास्टिंग ऑन ई स्पोर्ट्स इन मेजर चैनल लाइक सोनी. ऑनेस्टली उसका होके भी आई डोंट नो फायदा क्या है, बिकॉज आजकल की जनरेशन सब लोग यूट्यूब पे ही कंटेंट कंज्यूम करते हैं, OTT प्लेटफॉर्म से कंज्यूम करते हैं. टीवी यंगर जनरेशन इतना देखती नहीं है, नॉट एनी मोर एटलीस्ट. पहले ऑब्वियसली बहुत देखते थे, बट अभी सब अपने मोबाइल पे, अपने टैबलेट पे, लैपटॉप पे या कोई भी और डिवाइस पे ही कंटेंट कंज्यूम करते हैं. तो आई डोंट नो टीवी पे आने से अगर ई स्पोर्ट्स बढ़ेगा या नहीं, बट हाँ अगर आया तो ऑब्वियसली इट विल बी कूल. देयर वाज अ चैनल आई रिमेंबर डी स्पोर्ट्स करके होता था, जो टाटा स्काई पे यूज्ड टू शोकेस अ लॉट ऑफ ESL की गेम. नॉडविन ने उनके साथ किया था, तो वो काफी एपिक था. बट yes, are you the owners of SATUL? No bro, SATUL के owners है थक भाई, गोल्डी भाई, and they are there with Mortal as well. तो Soul and 8-bit esports का जब combination हुआ तो SATUL esports was born. Valorant so big in Korea, why doesn't G have a Korean roster? अनाउंसमेंट्स आ रहे हैं उसके रिगार्डिंग. तो वी हैड एक्चुअली हैड टू पॉज ऑल कोरियन ऑपरेशंस बिकॉज ऑफ द पैंडेमिक, क्योंकि हमको कोरियन गवर्नमेंट ने बहुत ही जल्दी इन्फॉर्म कर दिया था कि जनवरी 2022 तक दे विल नॉट ओपन देयर बॉर्डर्स. तो हमने सोचा जब वहां नहीं जा सकते हैं, रिमोटली पूरा मैनेज करना काफी मुश्किल होगा, तो हमने पॉज किया हमारे सारे इंटरनेशनल ऑपरेशंस. एज सून एज थिंग्स बिकम ईजियर एंड हम ट्रैवल कर सकते हैं, तभी वी विल रिज्यूम ऑल ऑपरेशन. बट देयर आर लॉट्स ऑफ थिंग्स हैपनिंग एट द बैक एंड जो अनाउंस अभी नहीं हुए. क्या है? डू यू फील दैट esports orgs इन इंडिया विल रिलीज IPO सून लाइक डेविड बेकहम गिल्ड esports? अभी देखो नजारा का IPO हुआ है. they've been trying for the last 5 years and they were oversubscribed. 21x was what Nazara IPO went. तो Nazara being a publisher and they own a tournament organizer like NODWIN Gaming, it's a great thing कि esports आगे बढ़ रहा है. esports orgs के लिए आई थिंक इंडिया में बहुत ही अर्ली है IPO होना. पहले तो एजुकेशन इंपॉर्टेंट है, ग्रोथ इंपॉर्टेंट है, यूजर बेस बिल्ड करना इंपॉर्टेंट है. ये सब जब हो जाएगा उसके बाद कंपनीज कैन स्टार्ट लुकिंग एट ROI एंड देन IPO. तो आई थिंक IPO में अभी भी 5-10 साल है. अगर उसके पहले हो गया, आई डोंट नो द रिस्पॉन्स विल बी, बट आई थिंक 5-10 साल अभी रुकना चाहिए, जल्दबाजी नहीं करना चाहिए. IPO के लिए अभी टाइम है. When will I stream Valorant? ब्रो ऑनेस्टली मेरे को बहुत 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 खेलने का मन है, बट टाइम ही नहीं मिला है, तो अनफॉर्चुनेटली यही हाल है अभी. व्हाट आर योर थॉट्स ऑन राकाजोन गेमिंग एज अ कंटेंट क्रिएटर? ओह इज अ ब्रिलियंट कंटेंट क्रिएटर. आई थिंक PC में राकाजोन इज वन ऑफ द टॉप गाइज एंड वो बहुत ही एपिक खेलता है एंड काफी एंटरटेनिंग भी है. सो आई व्हेन आई गेट अ चांस आई लव ट्यूनिंग इनटू राका स्ट्रीम्स. व्हेन विल ग्लोबल esports प्रीमियम कंटेंट क्रिएटर? Oh, Ed super chat. Time for international big dollar Indian tournament. आएगा इसका भी टाइम आएगा. When will क्या किधर क्वेश्चन कहा गया? The yearly broadcasted tournament like IPL. Both yes and no. I don't think IPL जैसा टूर्नामेंट होने से esports सीन सडनली बढ़ जाएगा, बट जो लोग esports सीन में ऑलरेडी है डेफिनेटली उनके लिए बहुत एपिक होगा. आई थिंक अभी फोकस रहना चाहिए टू ग्रो द एंटायर सीन, एंड जब सीन बढ़ जाएगा तभी वी शुड हैव समथिंग लाइक द IPL. इसीलिए जब वन मोर क्वेश्चन जो काफी लोग पूछ रहे थे, व्हाई वाजंट देयर एनी गवर्नमेंट रिप्रेजेंटेटिव या गवर्नमेंट को इन्वॉल्व होना चाहिए, गवर्नमेंट को बॉडी रखनी चाहिए, आई थिंक इट्स टू अर्ली टू बी ऑनेस्ट। गवर्नमेंट को अभी ई स्पोर्ट्स में इन्वॉल्व नहीं होना चाहिए। अभी हम सब जो ई स्पोर्ट्स के स्टेक होल्डर्स है वही फिगर आउट कर रहे हैं कि ई स्पोर्ट्स में क्या होना चाहिए, कैसे होना चाहिए, क्यों होना चाहिए। तो अभी अगर गवर्नमेंट आके लॉज रख दिए कि ऐसे होना चाहिए वैसे होना चाहिए, जब उनको खुद समझ में नहीं आता है कि ई स्पोर्ट्स का क्या फ्यूचर है, आई थिंक इट्स टू अर्ली ऑन, इट विल किल इनोवेशन। और एट दिस पॉइंट हमें इनोवेशन की जरूरत है और इंस्टीट्यूशनल इन्वॉल्वमेंट की नहीं। तो जब इनोवेशन पे फोकस देंगे, हाँ गाइडलाइंस अगर होंगे ग्रेट, दैट विल रियली हेल्प, बट अगर लॉज एंड रिस्ट्रिक्शंस आने लग गए सो अर्ली ऑन, इनोवेशन किल हो जाएगा। तो आई डोंट थिंक गवर्नमेंट शुड गेट इन्वॉल्व राइट नाउ। क्या है और क्वेश्चंस? क्लैश रॉयल फॉर जी, क्लैश रॉयल के लिए बहुत अर्ली है, आई ऑनेस्टली डोंट थिंक। What do you think about stars investing in esports teams like bigger example Drake investing in 100 Thieves? I think वो definitely होगा। Again this ties into education। जब लोग समझेंगे और देखेंगे कि esports कितना बड़ा है और क्या हो रहा है, तब जाके stars notice करेंगे और invest करना चाहेंगे। Right now we're at that inflection point। I think ये साल बहुत बड़े announcements आने वाले हैं। Already थोड़े से investments announce हो चुके हैं, but stay tuned, ये साल बहुत ही epic होने वाला है। Are we getting Clash of Clans team in G? I don't think anytime soon, bro. Honestly, I don't see the game at the place where it's required to be esports बढ़ाने के लिए और to be recognized as a popular esport title. I think उसकी viewership अभी कम है. We should focus, and y'all as part of the COC community and the Clash Royale community and all Supercell games, आप लोग को focus करना चाहिए कि community को बढ़ाए और stream करे, content creators को involve करे and community events host करे, तब जाके scene बढ़ेगा and then esports orgs can enter on and have bigger tournaments that come in. Why do we wait for brands to come and sponsor athletes and esports companies? Instead we should go to brands. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि हम ब्रांड्स के लिए रुके हुए हैं। एवरी पर्सन इन ई स्पोर्ट्स इज रियली गोइंग एंड पिचिंग टू ब्रांड्स और उनको दिखा रहे हैं कि ये व्यूअरशिप है। द प्रॉब्लम इज द डिसीजन मेकर्स जो ये ब्रांड्स की कंपनीज के हेड्स है उनको समझ में नहीं आता है। तो लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स एंड वीव गॉन एंड पिच, लोग बोलते हैं कि यार क्या ई स्पोर्ट्स हम पैसे दे ताकि लोग बैठ के वीडियो गेम खेल सके, ये क्या लॉजिक है, उससे हमको क्या मिलेगा? तो दे नॉट सीइंग द रिटर्न ऑन द इन्वेस्टमेंट येट। ऑब्वियसली काफी ब्रांड्स हैं जो रिस्क लेने के लिए तैयार है और जो कोशिश कर रहे हैं, and over time obviously things will get better, and I think it's just a matter of time। एक साल, ये साल रुको, ये साल really 2021 is going to be the make or break for esports। बहुत ही epic होने वाले हैं काफी चीजें, and I'll just say wait and watch। there are international teams like FaZe who have created a big hype in us। Yes, so FaZe Clan I think is one of the best examples of कैसे करना चाहिए, how they should handle esports content is a great way to go। You are seeing teams like S8UL and obviously global esports that are focusing content पे, and content focus growth रहा है हमारा। थोड़ा और हम content पे focus करके eyeballs और लाएंगे ताकि investors को interest आए, brands को interest आए, sponsors को interest आए, and then जब लोग industry में आएंगे और देखेंगे कि they are getting the ROI because इतने views मिल रहे हैं, तो obviously फिर पैसा भी आएगा। बट राइट नाउ भी उसी पे कोशिश चल रही है। वाइल्ड ड्रिफ्ट टीम आफ्टर लॉन्च, यस ऑफ कोर्स, आई थिंक वाइल्ड ड्रिफ्ट इज अ वेरी प्रॉमिसिंग टाइटल एंड हम वाइल्ड ड्रिफ्ट पे पूरा जोर लगाएंगे जैसी गेम लॉन्च हो जाए। हम बस रुके हुए, जल्दी गेम लॉन्च हो जाए, मजा आएगा फिर। एनी टाइम सून फॉर जी राका जोन। राका अगर देख रहे हो मैं कॉल करता हूँ, बात करते हैं। कैन फ्री फायर डाई इन समटाइम इन इंडिया लाइक पबजी? ऑनेस्टली आई थिंक फ्री फायर ने काफी अच्छा बेस बिठा लिया है, शायद टियर 1 सिटीज में नहीं बट टियर 2 एंड टियर 3 सिटीज में इतना अच्छा बेस बिठा दिया है कि ऑलमोस्ट उनके लास्ट जो बड़े टूर्नामेंट हुए थे 52 मिलियन व्यूज थे, तो पोटेंशियल बहुत है। आई डोंट थिंक इट्स गोइंग टू बी सो इजी टू किल द गेम। हाँ, अगर बैन हो जाए फॉर सम रीजन जो होनी नहीं चाहिए क्योंकि कोई वजह नहीं है, फिर देख सकते हैं, बट ओवरऑल इन जनरल आई थिंक फ्री फायर का बहुत पोटेंशियल है। एटलीस्ट जब तक पबजी वापस नहीं आए, पबजी आ भी जाएगी तो आई डोंट सी फ्री फायर डाइंग। आई थिंक पबजी और फ्री फायर दोनों साथ में ग्रो होंगे। What are the college tournaments for Valorant? Valorant के लिए काफी टूर्नामेंट्स है। इनफैक्ट अगर आपने esports दिस वीक नहीं चेकआउट किया हो, राहुल यूजुअली टॉक्स अबाउट ऑल द थिंग्स हैपनिंग इन द वर्ल्ड ऑफ esports एंड वेदर इट्स इन Valorant, फ्री फायर में है या जो भी गेम है या पबजी के अपडेट्स है, esports दिस वीक में यूजुअली मेंशन हो जाता है। एंड जो भी टूर्नामेंट्स हो रहे हैं, रजिस्टर कैसे करना है, तो अगर आपने नहीं देखा, गो चेकआउट ग्लोबल esports के चैनल पे esports दिस वीक, बिकॉज दैट्स अ प्रीटी गुड प्लेस टू गेट ऑल योर इन्फॉर्मेशन। वाइल्ड ड्रिफ्ट कब आएगा? हमने सुना है कि अप्रैल मई तक आ जाना चाहिए। उन्होंने बोला है समर तक दे विल ट्राई टू एक्सपैंड टू द रेस्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड, तो होपफुली फिंगर्स क्रॉस वाइल्ड ड्रिफ्ट जल्दी आ जाए। 1.2 के लाइक्स हो गया गाइस, थोड़ा और पुश कर दो तो मैं मोहित और राहुल को भी खींच के ले आऊंगा। Why not news proper covering esports news? ऑनेस्टली व्यूज, उनको व्यूज चाहिए यार. जो भी न्यूज चैनल्स अभी व्यूज के लिए कर रहे हैं, अगर कोई भी न्यूज से उनको व्यूज मिलेंगे तो वो कवर करेंगे. अगर उनको लगता है कि वो न्यूज से व्यूज नहीं मिलेंगे तो वो कवर नहीं करेंगे. राइट नाउ द प्रॉब्लम इज काफी लोगों को समझ में नहीं आता है कि ई स्पोर्ट्स में क्या पोटेंशियल है, और उनको पता ही नहीं है कि ई स्पोर्ट्स में व्यूअरशिप कैसे लाए एंड ई स्पोर्ट्स ऑडियंस को क्या पसंद है. ई स्पोर्ट्स में काफी लोग हैं जिनको नहीं समझ में आता ई स्पोर्ट्स ऑडियंस को क्या पसंद है, तो मेन स्ट्रीम कहां से लाएंगे यार. नेक्स्ट टाइम हैव अ सेशन विद अन्ना, गोल्डी बाय, थग, यूफो. अरे डेफिनेटली हमने एक प्लान किया था बट बिकॉज ऑफ टाइम क्लैश नहीं हो पाया, बट वो डेफिनेटली हम करेंगे. आई थिंक यूफो ने भी काफी मेहनत की है टू ट्राई एंड ऑर्गेनाइज एंड गेट एवरीवन टुगेदर, बट बस टाइम कोऑर्डिनेट करना मुश्किल हो रहा था. बट हम होपफुली रखेंगे. एक सेकंड में देखता हूँ अभी और कौन है गिल्ड हाउस में, उनको भी घसीटता कॉन्वर्सेशन में. मैं अकेले अकेले इतना बकवास नहीं करते रहूंगा. एक सेकंड. एक सेकंड गाइस, मैं कहीं नहीं गया हूं, यहीं हूं. ओके सॉरी, अभी वेला सिर्फ मैं ही बैठा हूँ, बाकी सब बहुत मेहनत कर रहे हैं, काम कर रहे हैं. तो उनका जब हो जाएगा तभी आई गेट देम इन. बट आप लोग यहाँ 1.5 के लाइक्स लो, फिर मैं सुकी को यहाँ घसीट के ले आऊंगा और बोलूंगा बाकी काम बाद में कर ले, या तो मैं उसका काम कर लूंगा, उसको यहाँ बिठा दूंगा. विल फिगर इट आउट, डोंट वरी. PUBG created negative impact on many parents which is hard to fix. जितना नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट लगता है लोगों को उतना नहीं हुआ है, बिकॉज उससे कई ज्यादा पॉजिटिव इम्पैक्ट हुआ है. काफी लोगों ने देखा है कि उनके करियर बन सकते हैं, काफी कंपनीज खुले हैं, और काफी कंटेंट क्रिएटर्स के लिए एक बेस बना है विच हैज फॉर्म्ड इनटू देयर करियर. उनका फुल टाइम इनकम इससे आ रहा है. तो यस, नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट हुआ है बिकॉज काफी लोग एडिक्ट हो गए गेम से, दिन रात खेलते थे तो पेरेंट्स नाराज हो गए. बट टू बी ऑनेस्ट, अगर 150 मिलियन पीपल आर प्लेइंग द गेम और उसमें से कुछ लोग नाराज हुए, आई थिंक फॉर इनोवेशन ऐसा होने ही वाला है कि कोई लोग अपसेट होंगे, कोई लोग नाराज होंगे. तो इट्स जस्ट अ मैटर ऑफ टाइम. यस, अगर 100 मिलियन लोग आए हैं सीन में बिकॉज ऑफ PUBG, कुछ तो बुरे लोग भी आएंगे, कुछ अच्छे लोग भी आएंगे. देयर इज ऑलवेज गोइंग टू बी दैट बैटल बिटवीन गुड एंड बैड. एंड वो रियली इट्स अप टू अस एज कंज्यूमर्स, एज यूजर्स, कि हम फोकस करें एंड कोशिश करें कि हमारी वजह से या हमारे एक्शंस की वजह से गेम पे या इन जनरल इकोसिस्टम एंड ऑडियंस पे नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट नहीं आए. What is the minimum age to come into esports? Honestly, bro, कोई minimum age नहीं है. हाँ, काफी tournaments है जिनकी minimum age requirement है to be 16 or 18, but वो specific tournaments के लिए है. I don't think orgs के लिए कोई minimum age है, या content creator बनने के लिए, content post करने के लिए कोई limited age है, या esports pro athlete बनने के लिए कोई limited age है. हाँ, tournaments के certain restrictions होते हैं, but those are only tournament specific. You are at the guild house or content house? अभी मैं हूँ guild house में, not at the content house. कंटेंट हाउस बाद में जाएंगे. चेस प्लेयर्स एंड जी एनी टाइम सून. जेडी, वो जेडी आंसर करेगा, दिन रात बैठ के चेस खेलते रहे. जेडी, पीपल वांट टू नो चेस प्लेयर्स इन जीई. मेरे पूरा बच्चे यार,
ये लास्ट नाइट आई वाज मॉर्निंग द रैम.
अच्छा, आजा मॉड नहीं, यहां से आ जाना. आजा वेट, यू कैन कम. कुर्सी लेके आ जा इफ यू वांट.
You lost to someone.
यस.
Hi guys.
यू लॉस्ट टू सांगवान चेस में.
Yeah, someone's really nice.
At chess.
Yeah.
सांगवान अगर सुन रहे तो चेस स्ट्रीम शुरू कर.
No, someone is really.
Is Tencent shares in Riot stopping Riot to come to India? I don't think there is any connection here because Riot is a US based registered company North America में. Yes.
I am Tencent. I am Tencent. Thank you.
Tencent. Hi Tencent.
Hi. Can I say hi?
What? Yes, of course you can come to the stream and say hi. What about COD titles, not mobile? तो COD is a great game. Oh, उसकी मास्क की वजह से. COD is a great game. I think Call of Duty has been the backbone of esports, especially North America में. Mobile has also done really well, but India में इतना take off नहीं हुआ है. But it's growing. I definitely see it growing. बहुत potential है. कंटेंट क्रिएटर वर्सेस ई-स्पोर्ट्स प्लेयर, ब्रो वर्सेस है नहीं, बहुत अलग चीज है. कंटेंट क्रिएटर अपनी जगह, ई-स्पोर्ट्स अपनी जगह. दोनों के बिना ये इकोसिस्टम सस्टेन नहीं कर सकता. सिर्फ अगर एथलीट्स हो तो फायदा नहीं है, सिर्फ क्रिएटर्स हो तो फायदा नहीं है. दोनों होंगे तो ही आगे बढ़ेगा. करेक्ट? ऐसा.
Apes together strong.
Yes, apes together strong.
Not what it is.
Do number of subscribers matter to enter G? Absolutely not. मेरे खुद के सबके सब्सक्राइबर्स कहाँ, हम लोग सब है ना जी. सब्सक्राइबर्स ये देख, तेरे सब्सक्राइबर्स है
Yeah.
कितने?
100.
तेरे कितने हैं?
120.
तेरे कितने हैं?
121.
देखा सब्सक्राइबर्स चाहिए जी में आने के? नहीं ना, सब यहाँ बैठे ना गिल्ड हाउस में.
Miyokin fashion icon. Read that na.
अच्छा तू पढ़ ना मियोकिन फैशन आइकॉन.
I'll go back to modern.
गोवा, हाँ गोवा से आया है.
Thank you boys. You like my t-shirt? See my t-shirt.
Yes. Number of are you a doctor? Yes, I am a doctor, bro. मैंने पूरा मेरा MBBS कंप्लीट किया है, इंटर्नशिप किया है, हॉस्पिटल मैनेजमेंट किया हुआ है, एंड आई हैव इवन वर्क टू सेट अप हॉस्पिटल्स. तो वो एक अलग कहानी है, बट वो एक अलग लाइफ है. देखो क्या हो गया. अच्छा ऐसा क्या. कल मैं परचेज कर सकता हूँ, क्या मैं परचेज कर सकता हूँ जी की जर्सी? अभी नहीं, वी विल बी डूइंग अ लिमिटेड रिलीज ड्रॉप वेरी सून. उसके बारे में अगर जानना है तो सब्सक्राइब, बेल आइकॉन, यहाँ कुछ है नहीं बट आदत से मजबूर सब जगह सब्सक्राइब, लाइक, शेयर, कमेंट.
Next video also.
नेक्स्ट
next video, your own video, right?
Achha.
Give views. You need views to sustain.
Do you think present day media houses are lacking maturity, like they aren't rectifying news positive? Few houses are really promoting recent hack news. देखो लोग वही प्रमोट करेंगे जिससे उनको व्यूज मिलेंगे. तो अगर हैकिंग के न्यूज से उनको व्यूज आते हैं तो वो वही करेंगे. राइट नाउ ट्रेडिशनल मीडिया हाउसेज डोंट रियलाइज ई स्पोर्ट्स को कैसे कैपिटलाइज कर सकते हैं या ऑडियंस को क्या चाहिए. Even a lot of esports athletes and content creators are still figuring it out. But जो लोग फिगर आउट कर चुके हैं उनको व्यूज जा रहे हैं. तो दैट्स आई थिंक ट्रेंड आप बहुत इजीली समझ सकते हो. जब तक देखो इंटरनेट इज द बिगेस्ट डेमोक्रेसी. आप लोग डिसाइड करो आपका टाइम कहाँ स्पेंड करने वाले हो, विच वीडियो यू वांट टू गिव व्यूज टू. दैट इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग. तो वेरेवर यू स्पेंड योर टाइम एंड एफर्ट, जहां आप अपना व्यूज दोगे, अपना टाइम दोगे, उसी चीज को बाकी सब प्रमोट करेंगे. What is the main sort of income other than GE? For me personally, GE is something that I'm doing to grow. I've been part of lots of startups in the past. I think अभी ये भाग गए तो थोड़ा अभी focus conversation एकदम अभी दिल से heart to heart. So for me, GE has always been something very close to my heart, and I've been playing video games for as long as I can remember. यार 3 साल की उम्र से वीडियो गेम खेल रहा हूँ. भले वो मारियो कार्ट हो या वो ओल्ड स्कूल मारियो हो, कॉन्ट्रा हो, सेगा, निंटेंडो 64, कोई भी आप कंसोल ले लो, पीसी या मैं गेम बॉय से लेके हर एक गेमिंग डिवाइस खेल चुका हूँ. हर एक गेम हर एक गेम तो नहीं बोलूँगा बट ऑलमोस्ट हर गेम ट्राई कर चुका हूँ. एंड आई एम अ हार्डकोर गेमर. तो मेरे लिए जितना टाइम एंड एफर्ट मैं डाल सकता हूँ टू ग्रो द गेमिंग इकोसिस्टम एंड गेमिंग इंडस्ट्री, दैट इज रियली एपिक फॉर मी. When it comes to income, obviously, global esports is not there at the position where I can, say ekdam shan se कि this is my only source of income. That is why you have to be smart. I do have other source of income from my tech background. I've been part of startups in the past. I have exited and sold startups. I have multiple investments that I put in place. And एक चीज अगर आप मेरे social media follow करते हो तो cryptocurrency is a big part of it as well. And I've been part of the blockchain ecosystem for almost 10 years now. I've done a lot of back-end, front-end programming. मेरी खुद की web design firm रह चुकी है. तो iOS ऐप डेवलपमेंट खुद कर चुका हूँ. तो बहुत सारे हैं sources of revenue, and all of that obviously helps GE's income as well. Samay Raina has created a big impact on chess community. Yes, 100%. At what price a perfect budget PC can come? See, budget PC can be at any price between say 50-60,000 going all the way to 1.5 lakh. It really depends on what your main focus is, whether it's on content creation, whether it's on esports, whether it's on casual gaming. तो वो आपके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है. Is there chance of PUBG coming back? Bro, जब तक गेम आएगी नहीं मैं कुछ नहीं बोलूंगा, बिकॉज मैं अभी हाँ बोलूंगा फिर नहीं आएगी, लोग मारेंगे. मैं ना बोलूंगा आ जाएगी, लोग मारेंगे. तो मैं PUBG के बारे में कुछ नहीं बोलूंगा. All I'm going to say is I hope it comes back, and I hope it comes back soon. Miyokin is such a jolly fellow. Make him post content. Miyokin! Jolly fellow, post content! बोल दिया. Comment आया. Miyokin jolly fellow. Why he no post content?
Achha, go back.
Go ahead. Why no post content?
Because my life is a content.
Your life is a content, but वो डालेगा कौन, दिखाएगा कौन? लोगों को कौन दिखाएगा? बेशरम.
I need to upload all the footage.
I need to upload all the footage. देख शर्म ही नहीं है इसको. इंटरनेशनल ओलंपिक. ओ भाई क्वेश्चन बहुत फास्ट जा रहे. वेट, व्हाट डू यू थिंक? हाँ गाइस, अगर क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हो तो प्लीज मेरे को ऐड टैग कर दो, तो फिर इजी हो जाता है पढ़ने के लिए. व्हाट डू यू थिंक अबाउट सिको, द न्यू मेड इन इंडिया बैटल रॉयल गेम? देखो पहले तो बैटल रॉयल नहीं है, मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन स्प्रेड करना बंद करो. सिको के बारे में ग्लोबल स्पोर्ट्स के सारे व्यूज आ चुके हैं ऑन ई स्पोर्ट्स दिस वीक. आज के एपिसोड में ग्लोबल स्पोर्ट्स के चैनल पे जाओ, चेकआउट करो, और अगर अच्छा लगा वहां कॉमेंट करो, फिर बैठ के डिस्कस करते. वो पहले देख के आओ. मैं इधर ही बैठो, देख के आओ. ई स्पोर्ट्स दिस वीक नहीं देख रहे हो तो क्या कर रहे हो? कैसे पता चलेगा आपको ई स्पोर्ट्स में क्या चल रहा है?
Will you guys ever hire any Free Fire team in the future?
we've thought about it a lot. हमने काफी फ्री फायर टीम से बात भी किया, अभी डिसीजन नहीं लिया है बिकॉज फ्री फायर में और बहुत सारे पोटेंशियल है. वे वर्किंग विद कंटेंट क्रिएटर्स राइट नाउ. एज आप जानते हो हमने स्काईलॉट को साइन किया है, वो हमारे कंटेंट हाउस में रह चुका है. अगर आप हमारे व्लॉग्स देखते हो आपने ये भी देखा होगा कि काफी फ्री फायर टीम्स हमारे कंटेंट हाउस आ चुके हैं. हमने उनके साथ कंटेंट शूट किया है, चिल किया है, बातें किया है, पार्टी भी किया है. बट फ्री फायर टीम साइन करने का अभी डिसीजन नहीं लिया है. वे स्टिल वेटिंग एंड वॉचिंग. फ्री फायर ऑब्वियसली इज वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट मोबाइल गेम्स इन द कंट्री राइट नाउ, तो वी डोंट वांट टू मिस आउट ऑन इट. बट कैसे एंटर करेंगे, कौन सी टीम के साथ एंटर करेंगे, और अगर एंटर भी करेंगे फ्रॉम द टीम राउट, ये हमने डिसाइड नहीं किया है.
ये क्या
अभी लोग गाइज, मैं स्लो मोड ऑन कर दूंगा गाइज. ऐसे स्पैम करोगे तो एक्चुअली मैं कर ही देता हूँ. एक सेकेंड, अभी आएगा स्लो मोड. किधर गया स्लो मोड? मैं थोड़ा न्यू स्ट्रीमर हूँ गाइज, थोड़ा फिगर आउट करना पड़ता है स्ट्रीम सेटिंग्स.
No, you can't do slow mode. No,
Of course you can.
You can.
Yes, of course you can.
Team latency is.
Yes, yeah. Live chat slow mode on. 30 seconds का slow mode डाल रहा हूँ, तो ज़्यादा नहीं है. At least मेरे को सवाल पढ़ने मिलेगा.
15 seconds is enough. Slow mode.
नहीं. At what price? अभी ये तो बोल दिया. Big fan. JD's pole dance. JD? I thought pole dance गैरी ने किया.
JD कौन है? Pole dance में.
I saw your LinkedIn. What was confused? What your main job is, bro? Life में कभी-कभी मैं भी confused हो जाता हूँ. तूने pole dance कभी किया? वो बोल रहा है like JD's pole dance. मेरे को लगा गैरी ने pole dance किया. गाइस एक सेकंड, इधर दोनों इधर आओ. दोनों इधर आओ. थोड़ा कैमरा में आओ. कैमरा में आओ. JD गैरी JD
देखो.
JD नो JD ये JD. Yes. Good luck versus Riot Syndicate. Tony going on right now. Thank you so much. Thank you. हमारी जीतेगा भाई, जीतेगा. GE जीतेगा. इंडियन ऑफिशियल वैलोरेंट टूर्नामेंट्स हैपनिंग एनी टाइम सून, या अभी नाम खराब है इंडिया का? नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है कि नाम खराब है, बट नो ऑफिशियल टूर्नामेंट्स हैव बीन अनाउंस्ड एज ऑफ येट. आई थिंक बहुत जल्दी होगा. राइट इज ऑल्सो जस्ट फिगरिंग आउट कि इंडिया का क्या सीन है. देखो सर्वर्स तो डाल ही दिया, दैट्स द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग. और स्काई स्पोर्ट्स, TEC, काफ़ी सारे टूर्नामेंट ऑर्गेनाइजर्स है जो होस्ट कर रहे हैं वैलोरेंट टूर्नामेंट्स. EPS भी है, ई स्पोर्ट्स प्रीमियर सीरीज. अगर आपने रजिस्टर नहीं किया है, नाउ इज अ गुड टाइम. आई थिंक esports.in इज देयर वेबसाइट. esports.in/valorant ऐसा ही कुछ है. esports दिस वीक पे सारी डिटेल्स हैं, लिंक इन डिस्क्रिप्शन, रजिस्टर करने के लिए अगर आप लोगों को वैलोरेंट में इंटरेस्ट है. बट बहुत सारे टूर्नामेंट्स हो रहे हैं, तो ऑफिशियल टूर्नामेंट्स भी आ जाएंगे इवेंचुअली. सारा बूट कैम्प का फुल टूर कभी होगा? बहुत ही जल्दी होगा. क्या? Where? Set. Will Gary shirt be part of G's merchandise? No, Gary will be part of G's merchandise sale. We are going to put up a bid and we are selling Gary as an NFT. ये है ही बंदा नॉन फंजिबल टोकन, इसको रिप्लेस नहीं कर सकते, तो इसको बिड डालना है. जिसको बिडिंग शुरू करनी है तो अभी शुरू कर दो बिडिंग. वी आर सेलिंग गैरी टू द हाईएस्ट बिडर राइट नाउ. जिसका हाईएस्ट सुपर चैट आएगा गैरी उसका.
हेलो भाई.
नहीं, ये ऑफिशियल हो गया है. जिसका भी हाईएस्ट सुपर चैट आएगा गैरी उसका. अभी फिलहाल थक कर, तो गैरी फिलहाल थक है.
Don't super chat.
Yes. Can I join GE? Yes, everyone can join GE. मोहित ने एक रील बनाया था अपने इंस्टाग्राम पे on some details. So at मोहित इस्टानी जाके चेकआउट कर लो उसका रील, and then you will have details on how you can join GE. Did you try to hire Zishu? No, we have not spoken to Zishu, but बात करना चाहिए. अच्छा बच्चा है. He has some really good streams. Yeah, I really enjoy his content. Nightmare has put a bid of $999. Congratulations. Right now 1000. Sonu Games has put a 1000 rupees है, $1000 नहीं लिखा. Right now Nightmare का सबसे ज्यादा है. JD मिस्टेक से लिखा, अब क्या जान लोगे? हाँ, बिकॉज गैरी को JD बुलाएगा तो जान ही लेंगे ना, ऐसा छोड़ेंगे क्या? 150 रुपए देगा तेरे लिए, चलेगा?
नहीं. 10 crore कौन बोला?
ये गैरी गलती से JD लिख दिया.
10 crore for Gary.
10 crore for Gary. पहला पैसा ट्रांसफर कर. तेरे को नहीं मिल रहा, तू बिक रहा हो.
But I'm happy that I'm selling.
अच्छा, तेरा भाव उतना है. Just waiting for GE's IPO. I'm proudly too in blockchain ecosystem. Ethereum for the win. Bro, GE के IPO को बहुत टाइम है. I'm not even sure अगर हमको वो राउट जाना है, because IPO करने में there are pros and cons. IPO जिन लोगों को नहीं पता है, initial public offering. I don't know अगर हम लोग publicly list होंगे. उसके भी pros and cons होते हैं. अभी too early. अभी तो 5-10 साल बाद देखेंगे. $1,000,000 Dogecoin for Gary. Done. नहीं, $1,000,000 बहुत सस्ता है. 10 crore ऑफर इज बिगर. यू गॉट टू अप योर गेम. 10 crore करंट ऑफर है, बट ये जब तक प्रूफ ऑफ फंड्स नहीं मिलेंगे मैंने. 150 रुपीज 1 million Dogecoin. गैरी के एक्टिंग के लिए -50. फॉर कंटेंट क्रिएशन PC, हाउ मच मनी इज रिक्वायर्ड? ऑनेस्टली आई थिंक जो भी, वेदर इट्स गेमिंग, ई स्पोर्ट्स, जो भी आपको चाहिए within 1 lakh you can have a PC that's good enough that can handle it. हाँ, अगर आपको बेस्ट चाहिए तो लाखों खर्च कर सकते हो, बट 1 लाख के अंदर अंदर आप एक ऐसा PC बना सकते हो कि कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं हो. लैपटॉप भी खरीद सकते हो यार with that price. That will give you a very good result. अगेन मैं ये पहले भी लाइन बोल चुका हूँ, सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट यू, बट ये पहले भी लाइन बोल चुका हूँ, यू डोंट नीड टू हैव द बेस्ट टू बी द बेस्ट.
Yes.
अभी बोलो.
No, I was just saying that even
अच्छा, मेरा ही
60,000
लाइन
no,
बोलना
even,
था.
even 60,000 also there are laptops which you can stream from.
हाँ,
You
और
can
बताओ.
make content, you can make non-game content, you can make other content. Always live drive is better, bro.
Yes. Brawl Stars lineup anytime soon. नहीं यार, अभी Supercell की कोई भी गेम्स का हमने सोचा नहीं है. बहुत ही पोटेंशियल है, यूजर बेस भी काफी हाई है, बट अभी व्यूअरशिप उसका थोड़ा लो है. 1 million BTC bid for Gary.
1 million BTC.
Bro, I'll tell you what, 1 million छोड़, 10 ट्रांसफर कर लेके. I am Gary.
Yeah, but it's not coming to us.
What's it? You're going, he's staying. So it will come to him ना.
No,
It's coming to G.
No, it's coming to G, na?
हाँ, तो he's in G, you're going. अगर तू बिकेगा तो तू
No,
जाएगा,
but
वो
he's
तो
saying
रहेगा.
he's Gary, so he's going.
हाँ ठीक है, चल. फिर तू रह जा. ठीक है, सही बोला. Do you think Y Combinator really helps for young startup? Bro, 100%. मैं एक आज छोटी सी स्टोरी सुनाऊंगा जो मैंने पहले कभी नहीं सुनाई. I don't think JD को भी पता है. मोहित और मैंने 2014 में Y Combinator के लिए अप्लाई किया था फॉर दिस ऐप कॉल्ड टमियो, विच वॉज बेसिकली अ रेस्टोरेंट एक्सपीरियंस. कि आप रेस्टोरेंट में जाओ, QR कोड होगा टेबल पे, आप स्कैन करो, आपको मेन्यू मिलेगा, यू अटैच योर पेमेंट गेटवे, यू कैन ऑर्डर फ्रॉम योर फोन, यू कैन पे फ्रॉम योर फोन एंड वॉक अवे. बट वी वर टू अर्ली फॉर आर टाइम, तो हमको एक्चुअली YC ने बोला भी था दैट दिस टेक इज टू अर्ली एंड दिस इट्स टू अर्ली फॉर इट्स टाइम एंड शायद नहीं चलेगा. फास्ट फॉरवर्ड टू 2021, अभी कोई भी रेस्टोरेंट में जाते हो बिकॉज ऑफ कोविड, यू सी दैट एग्जैक्ट सेम थिंग. QR कोड है, स्कैन करो, मेन्यू आता है, ऑर्डर प्लेस करो, पे करो एंड निकल जाओ. तो थैंकफुली YC ने हमको तभी चांस नहीं दिया, नहीं तो अभी जी नहीं होता, हम बैठ के रेस्टोरेंट में ऑर्डर डिलीवरी कर रहे होते. तो आई एम वेरी हैप्पी YC थॉट आवर आइडिया वाज टू अर्ली ऑन एंड दुनिया के लिए वी वर टू अर्ली ऑन, बट नहीं तो जी नहीं होता. सो आई एम रियली हैप्पी. अभी भाग जा जेडी. CSGO roster ब्रो, CSGO टूर्नामेंट होस्ट करो, हम रोस्टर ले आएंगे, या तो हम CSGO टूर्नामेंट होस्ट करते हैं, आप रोस्टर ले आओ, वही दो ऑप्शन है. ग्लोबल esports Gmail. ग्लोबल esports doesn't have Gmail. ग्लोबल esports का एक ही ईमेल आईडी है, contact@globalesports.com. वैसे है बहुत सारे, बट देंगे सिर्फ एक, contact@globalesports.com. Original. Can I join Global Esport? Yes, you can.
अच्छा.
Email us at contact@globalesports.com.
बात कर रहा है later.
हाँ, Gary is going to check all the emails. G for life. हेलो सर, कॉलेज esports कैसे संभाले? कॉलेज और esports कैसे संभाले? वाह, मेरे को एक ही चीज बता, कॉलेज esports कैसे संभाले? ऑनेस्टली कॉलेज और esports संभालना इतना मुश्किल नहीं है. एट योर स्टेज और इन राइट नाउ, कॉलेज में डेडिकेट योर टाइम एंड अटेंशन, फोकस ओवर दैट. जो भी आपको फ्री टाइम मिलता है उसमें आप esports का कंज्यूम करो, कंटेंट देखो. एक बहुत एग्जांपल मैं देते रहता हूँ बात बात पे. यू डोंट नीड टू स्पेंड ऑल योर टाइम ऑन इट. सिर्फ ज्यादा टाइम स्पेंड करने से आप बेटर नहीं हो जाते हो. नहीं तो हर एक ड्राइवर नारायण कार्तिकेयन जैसे गाड़ी चला रहा था, हर एक टैक्सी ड्राइवर नारायण कार्तिकेयन जैसे गाड़ी चला रहा था. जस्ट बिकॉज आप ज्यादा टाइम बैठे हो गाड़ी में, गाड़ी चला रहे हो, डजंट मीन यू आर एलिजिबल या केपेबल ऑफ बीइंग एन F1 ड्राइवर. इनफैक्ट अगर आपको फोकस करना है, फोकस प्रैक्टिस करो. 1 या 2 घंटे बहुत है फोकस प्रैक्टिस के लिए. हमारे एथलीट्स भी इतने घंटे नहीं खेलते हो जितना आप खेलते हो. तो फोकस ऑन प्रैक्टिसिंग ऑन गेटिंग बेटर एंड नॉट जस्ट ऑन प्लेइंग मोर टाइम. 2 घंटे भी अगर रोज खेलोगे बहुत है, उससे ज्यादा नहीं जरूरत है.
Time management is the best thing.
ये देखा, ये गैरी बोला जो कंटेंट कभी पोस्ट नहीं करता है.
There's nothing to do with time management.
Time management?
No, it's because depends on player.
Yes. Does COC have esports potential? Bro, every game has esports potential. जब फर्स्ट esports StarCraft आया था, खुद पब्लिशर्स को नहीं पता था कि esports पोटेंशियल है, बट लोगों ने खेला, लोगों ने टूर्नामेंट्स होस्ट करना शुरू किया, ऑडियंस ने प्यार दिया एंड दैट्स व्हाट ग्रू द सीन. जब तक ऑडियंस, देखो, esports इज प्योरली अ डेमोक्रेसी. अगर ऑडियंस पार्टिसिपेट करेगी, व्यू करेगी, ऑटोमेटिकली वो होगा. सेम थिंग विद काउंटर स्ट्राइक एंड डोटा. क्यों लोगों ने टूर्नामेंट होस्ट करना बंद कर दिया? क्योंकि व्यूअरशिप नहीं थी. अगर आप लोग टूर्नामेंट देखोगे, शेयर करोगे अपने फ्रेंड्स के साथ, पार्टिसिपेट करोगे, ऑटोमेटिकली बाकी इंडस्ट्री फॉलो करेगी. आपका Valorant roster is enough for CSGO lol. हाँ यार, तो we have played, our Valorant roster has played some CSGO as well, but अभी उनको distract नहीं करना है because the game mechanics and game physics are so different. अभी उनको Valorant पे ही focus करवाना है. We want G to hire तन्मय भट्ट as content creator. अरे तन्मय भट्ट भाई, अगर सुन रहे हो तो देखो लोग क्या बोल रहे हैं. फौजी का e-sports, अरे भाई फौजी e-sport है ही नहीं, सिंगल प्लेयर गेम है विद मल्टीप्लेयर फीचर्स एंड पूरी गेम ही 1 घंटे में कैंपेन मोड उसका पास हो जाता है. दे हैवंट रिलीज्ड द कंपेटिटिव मोड येट. जब कंपेटिटिव मोड आएगा शायद फिर टूर्नामेंट्स होस्ट करेंगे पब्लिशर्स, बट ऑनेस्टली पब्लिशर्स के लिए ही रुके हैं कि वो काइंड ऑफ अपना सपोर्ट दे गेम को, टूर्नामेंट्स ऑर्गेनाइज करे, मेक इट अ मोर टूर्नामेंट फ्रेंडली गेम टू होस्ट. जब तक उसका ऑब्जर्वर फीचर नहीं आता हम टूर्नामेंट्स होस्ट नहीं कर पाएंगे तो सीन मुश्किल होगा. अरे असली नाइट बॉट नहीं है राजा. ये देख ऐसे लोग स्कैम होते हैं ब्रो. लीग ऑफ लेजेंड्स इज डेड ब्रो. लीग ऑफ लेजेंड्स करंटली वर्ल्ड में सबसे बड़ा ई स्पोर्ट है. इंडिया में उसका फ्यूचर ज्यादा नहीं है बिकॉज लोगों ने डोटा को अपना सपोर्ट दिया, बट अभी जब वाइल्ड रिफ्ट आएगा इन द फॉर्म ऑफ मोबाइल गेम, डेफिनेटली लीग ऑफ लेजेंड्स एक कमबैक करेगा एंड इंडिया में बहुत बड़ा होने वाला है. पीसी वर्जन भी शायद पिकअप कर लेगा उसके बाद वंस अ मोबाइल गेम कम्स इन, बट ऐसे डिस्काउंट मत करो. लीग ऑफ लेजेंड्स में बहुत पोटेंशियल है.
कम टू इंडिया.
फ्री फायर इज गुड और बैड ब्रो. फ्री फायर बहुत एपिक गेम है. आई थिंक देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ पोटेंशियल एंड बहुत ही ग्रो हो रहा है. एसके रॉसी, मैं नहीं खेलता फ्री फायर बट पोटेंशियल बहुत है फ्री फायर का. 52 मिलियन व्यूज ऐसे ही नहीं आते. देख
बैटरी एग्जॉस्ट.
क्या बैटरी एग्जॉस्टेड? नहीं, एक सेकेंड गाइस, ये देखो नूब स्ट्रीमर्स का यही होता है, बैटरी एग्जॉस्ट हो जाती है. अभी रुको नया चार्जर लगाने दो, नहीं तो बैटरी एग्जॉस्ट हो जाएगी. हाँ एक सेकेंड, मैं कैमरा स्विच कर रहा हूँ गाइस. एक प्रो कैमरा से नूब कैमरा पे स्विच हो रहा हूँ. या एक सेकेंड, स्ट्रीम पे अभी रुको, सेटिंग्स भी लाइव ही कर देता हूँ बिकॉज यू नो आई एम कूल लाइक दैट. आई एम कूल लाइक दैट. Device is being used by another application.
Like C9 blue and C9 white, will you ever get a G roster?
Wait. तब तक गैरी चैट पढ़ता है, मैं मेरा कैमरा फिक्स करता हूँ गाइस. बिकॉज मेरे लेजीनेस ने
not now, maybe in the future. I like this one, no? Maybe in the future.
Maybe in the future. Future is good, bro. The future is bright. The future is orange.
Why is someone saying bye? Bye, hey, we're not going. Hello?
कौन जा रहा है? किसको बोला? क्या है?
Somebody said bye.
किस खुशी में?
How did you meet Mohit sir?
हाँ अब ठीक है.
लंबा स्टोरी.
हाँ, हाउ डिड यू मीट मोहित सर? ब्रो हम लोग बचपन से साथ में ही रहते, वी आर नेबर्स एंड साथ में ही स्कूल में थे, केजी से लेके बट आई थिंक अभी और 25 इयर्स हो गया सिंस वी हैव बीन टुगेदर एंड सिंस वी बीन बेस्ट फ्रेंड्स. अभी तो ही इज मोर लाइक माय ब्रदर. अभी फैमिली है यार. एवरीवन एट ग्लोबल एस्पोर्ट्स इज फैमिली. इतना प्यार किसको करूं मैं? किसको करूं इतना प्यार? पप्पी नहीं दे रहा. पप्पी नहीं.
सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग.
हाँ सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग. एसके रॉसी को बोलो ग्राइंड करने को और दूसरों के स्ट्रीम्स में जाके हेलो गाइस बोलना बंद करो. रॉसी बहुत ग्राइंड कर रहा है ब्रो. मैं अगर और उसको बोलूंगा ग्राइंड करने तो टेंस का धंधा टेंस का धंधा खत्म क्यों करूं मैं भाई? बैठने दो. वैसे जो लोग अगर पूछना चाहते, मैं मेरे व्लॉग कैमरा से पहले स्ट्रीम कर रहा था तो.
बिग मैन ब्रो.
बिग मैन. साइज पे मत जा.
बिग स्ट्रीमर.
साइज पे मत जा. सीरियसली वांट टू सी मियोकिन व्लॉग्स, एनी कंटेंट. बेशरम है ब्रो, कंटेंट कभी नहीं करेगा. बहुत लेजी है, बहुत लेजी है. तो एक दुनिया का सबसे लेजी इंसान ये गैरी चू.
वर्क गेट्स डन.
हुज वर्क गेट्स डन? योर्स. बाकी सब करते. देख मुंह मत खुलवा मेरा स्ट्रीम पे.
See, not for myself.
हाँ.
Not for myself. I help other people. I'm a helping guy.
हाँ, happy guy. Helping guy. Okay. Very good. भाई एनी अपडेट कब तक लीग ऑफ लेजेंड्स मोबाइल में आएगा? ब्रो खबर सुनने में आई है कि अप्रैल मई तक मोस्ट लाइकली हो जाना चाहिए. देखते, होपफुली अप्रैल मई तक हो जाना चाहिए. गैरी देखो बच्चा बनना है, एनिमे कैरेक्टर बनना है.
एनिमे कैरेक्टर.
चलो ठीक है. गैरी एंड मी आज से हो गया. बच्चा एनिमे.
वो लुक सो क्यूट.
गैरी यू लुक एग्जैक्टली द सेम. कुछ बदला ही नहीं. गैरी अरे देख सेम है, बस बाल तेरे ज्यादा है. एनिमे वर्जन ऑफ गैरी हैज मोर हेयर, बाकी सब सेम ही है. विच इज योर लाइनअप इन फ्री फायर? ब्रो फ्री फायर में हमारी कोई लाइनअप नहीं है. वी आर राइट नाउ फोकस्ड ऑन अदर थिंग्स. हम लोग इतने ओवरवेल्म्ड है विद ऑल द वर्क दैट वी आर डूइंग. फ्री फायर आएगा, वी आर फोकसिंग ऑन फ्री फायर, बट इसलिए हमने स्काईलॉट को लिया एज अ कंटेंट क्रिएटर. बाकी सब भी करेंगे. वी विल लुक एट एक्सप्लोरिंग गेटिंग अ फ्री फायर लाइनअप एज वेल. यस कार्तिक, हाउ कैन आई हेल्प यू? सॉरी,
ऐसा एनिमे फिल्टरिंग
क्या कार्तिक आल्सो वांट्स टू ट्राई एनिमे फिल्टर? ओके कार्तिक, कम बिकम एन एनिमे कैरेक्टर. बट देखो मास्क निकालना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो फेस डिटेक्ट ही नहीं होगा. सीधा देखना. साइडवेज क्या देख रहे हो? ओ साइड प्रोफाइल.
See, I'm also character. I'm so behind.
ये ले. Karthik can be.
What happened to my hair?
Yeah.
I look like the hero. You look like the villain, dude. In anime.
I don't know who's hero, who's villain, but yeah. Chalo, anime filter gone.
Bye.
Chalo,
Go,
bye.
Go. No distancing.
Social distancing. Okay, going back to questions. What is your thoughts of Skylord, bro? Skylord बहुत ही epic इंसान है. I think there's an opportunity to. When are you, man? सालों मेरी शादी हो चुकी है. 7 साल से शादीशुदा हूँ. 2014 में शादी हो गई है.
I didn't want to disturb that question, but looks insane. शादी का है.
हाँ, next JD की शादी है. Immediately after Emmy.
हाँ, एमी के बाद.
हाँ, Emmy first.
अच्छा कह रही है नीडी. No. Sorry guys, sorry.
PC content creator in GE soon. I would like to find his qualities to actually as mailed and manage it. Okay, done. We will get more content creators, guys. हम लोग ढूंढ रहे हैं. अगर आप जानते हो content creators को who you would want to see in GE, please let us know. Comment से बोल दो. एक सेकंड, अभी slow chat off कर सकते हैं. अभी स्लो चैट ऑफ कर सकते हैं. अभी आई वांट ऑल टू लाइक प्रॉपरली इंटरैक्ट और मेरे से बात करो. मुझे बताओ क्या सोचते हो. एपेक्स लेजेंड्स में पोटेंशियल है ब्रो. पोटेंशियल तो बहुत है एपेक्स लेजेंड्स में, बट आई डोंट नो क्या. एपेक्स लेजेंड्स टूर्नामेंट सीन उसका इतना जल्दी किल हो गया ना, वो बहुत बुरा लग रहा है. बिकॉज एपेक्स लेजेंड्स इतनी एपिक गेम है, हम लोग को इतना मजा आता था खेलने में, बट अभी उसका टूर्नामेंट सीन गया. तो जब तक टूर्नामेंट्स नहीं होते हम क्या करेंगे भाई. रॉसी को अच्छा खिलाओ, उसको मारना है बहुत ज्यादा. अरे अरे अरे, वो तो अच्छी तरह खा रहे हैं. डोंट वरी, वी आर टेकिंग गुड केयर ऑफ रॉसी. 1+ ईयर्स से कंटेंट बना रहा हो ब्रो. लोग 7 साल से कंटेंट बना रहे हैं, तब जाकर डिस्कवर होते हैं. 1 साल तो कुछ भी नहीं है गाइज. एक चीज मैं बता दूं, स्पेशली ई स्पोर्ट्स में या कोई भी फील्ड में, 1 साल ग्राइंड करने से, 2 साल ग्राइंड करने से कुछ नहीं होता. इट मीन्स एब्सोल्युटली जीरो. मैंने मेरा फर्स्ट लैंड टूर्नामेंट खेला 2001 में. अभी हम 2021 में, 20 साल पहले मेरा फर्स्ट लैंड टूर्नामेंट खेला और अब जाके गेमिंग के इस मुकाम पे आया हूँ वेयर नाउ आई फील के मैं कोशिश कर रहा हूँ और एटलीस्ट जर्नी शुरुआत की है. अगर आप लोग बोलते हो 1 साल से मैं ग्राइंड कर रहा हूँ बट रिजल्ट्स नहीं दिख रहे, नॉट इनफ गाइस. नहीं होगा 1 साल में, तो कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. मैं तो सीधा सीधा बोल दूं. आई थिंक Lenovo and other brands have done very good thing making budget gaming laptops. 100%. देखो, सब चाहते हैं कि और एक्सेसिबल हो एंड आपके लिए इजी हो, तो उनका भी फायदा होगा ना यार. Your views on ESCA gaming, you play Chinese scrims and most of the Chinese players know him SK. No, I don't have too many views on it. I think everyone is going to do what they feel is best for them. So you should allow people to do what they feel is best for their career. Can a 12-year-old be part of any esports team? 100% bro. Age का क्या connection है? Oh my god, we have reached 1600 likes guys. 2000 likes पे ले आओ तो फिर मैं सुखी को भी ले आओ स्ट्रीम पे. तब तक सस्ते सुखी से काम चलाओ. Content.
But I'm Gary.
हाँ, you're Gary. सस्ता
Entity. I'm entity.
Any plans?
Entity. I'm a different entity.
ये देख, इधर बैठ के बोलता है he's entity. Very bad. Hi, when is tryouts happening guys? वीडियो कब आ रहा है? मंडे को. देखो पूछ रहा हूँ, घूम मत.
कौन?
फिर वीडियो रेडी है ना?
कौन?
मोस्टली एडिट होके मंडे को आ जाएगा गाइस. होपफुली. Any plans on PUBG roster? The games come back guys. हमारा ऑलरेडी PUBG roster है. क्यों इतना? हमारा सांगवान, ब्लेजी, अमन, फिर आइकॉनिक, डार्क, 5 इतने प्यारे लोग हैं. क्यों और मुझे गम, जल्दी गेम वापस आ जाए. कम ऑन गाइस, जिन्होंने सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया, लाइक नहीं किया है, जल्दी कर दो. तो फिर हम लोग इसको और एक्साइटिंग बनाते हैं. या तो अगर आप लोग बोलो तो इधर ही एंड कर देते हैं. बोलो कंटिन्यू करें या इधर लाइव स्ट्रीम एंड कर दे? अभी नहीं, तू नहीं, चैट डिसाइड करेगा. कंटिन्यू या एंड गाइस? लाइव स्ट्रीम एंड या कंटिन्यू? राइट इंडिया में क्यों नहीं आया ब्रो? राइट इंडिया में आएगा बहुत जल्द. डोंट वरी, बहुत ही जल्द आएगा. इट्स अ मैटर ऑफ टाइम.
I couldn't read that. Sorry boys.
अभी चैट बहुत फास्ट जा रहा है. +5 गेम्स की का कंटेंट बना रहे हो बट कोई रिकग्निशन नहीं मिल रहा है. देखो, सिर्फ ब्लाइंडली कंटेंट बनाने से कुछ नहीं होगा. अगर आपको ग्रो करना है, गो फॉलो पीपल जिनका कंटेंट, जो गेम्स आप बना रहे हो वो गेम में कौन कंटेंट बना रहे हैं, हु इज गेटिंग द व्यूज, क्यों उनको व्यूअरशिप मिल रहा है, कैसे उनके टाइटल्स और थंबनेल्स है, द पेसिंग ऑफ योर वीडियो. ट्राई टू फिगर आउट कि लोग क्या देखना चाहते हैं. बिकॉज शायद जो आप कंटेंट बना रहे हो वो आपके लिए एपिक है बट ऑडियंस के लिए नहीं है, इसलिए ऑडियंस उसको एंजॉय नहीं कर रही है. तो ट्राई टू मेक कंटेंट जो ऑडियंस को मजा आए. नहीं तो एट द एंड रियलाइज करो आप उनके लिए बना रहे हो बिकॉज देखने वाले तो वो है, आप नहीं. एंड अच्छा ठीक है. अभी आई थिंक मोर वोट इज कमिंग फॉर एंड गाइज. कंटिन्यू वाले पीछे रह गए तो हम लोग को नहीं. बट अगर चाहते हो कि सुखी ज्वाइन इन करे तो बोलो, देन विल कॉल सुखी ऑल्सो. बट अभी लोग एंड बोल रहे हैं यार. क्या यार, ठीक है चलो. अभी
हट इधर दुख रहा है भाई इधर
नहीं क्यों दुख रहा है?
नहीं करना है
अरे बट ब्रो हो गया ब्रो, हम लोग कितने टाइम से स्ट्रीम कर रहे हैं? 2 घंटे से स्ट्रीम कर रहे हैं ब्रो.
वी आर फॉर द पब्लिक.
अभी देख सब एक टाइम पे बता देंगे तो क्या होगा. चलो मैं एक चीज करके आ रहा हूँ. यस आई विल बी बैक इन 1 सेकंड. हाईजैक मत कर.
What's up, boss? It's me again here. Yeah. Okay. Calm down. First things first. These glasses don't work. I can't see anything. Continue. Oh, bhai. Slow down. हाँ कंटिन्यू. क्वेश्चन आस्क करो भाई. Let's do one thing. Ask Gary anything. Gary will not reply truthfully, but you can ask Gary anything. ठीक है. ये भी ठीक है.
हेलो.
I didn't understand anything what they said.
What do you mean you didn't understand?
So fast.
अच्छा. ओ भाई क्या स्पैम है ये? एक सेकंड. हाँ ये अच्छा है. Toaster have sent a detailed email to you and management to join as content creator. Reference Superman and Rahul Indusha. Okay, done. Toaster email please.
Rahul Indusha and
Superman.
Dang.
ये 2 रेफरेंसेस है तो फिर तो देखना ही पड़ेगा. Bringing PepsiCo किधर क्या? Hey, bringing PepsiCo in this scene is a big step, bro. PepsiCo has already been in the scene. Mountain Dew Arena has been happening for the last 5 years. कहाँ हो आप? मोबाइल में नहीं किया बट नहीं मोबाइल भी एक्चुअली they've been hosting, but they've been really doing a good job. Yeah, congratulations to the team at PepsiCo. Dew Arena तो बहुत ही मजेदार है. We played Dew Arena so many times and won. Yeah,
maybe.
Who is Gary? इधर आ, इंट्रोडक्शन दे.
मेरा नाम गैरी.
हिंदी में
तू पता है ना मेरा नाम गैरी है.
थोड़ा जोर से बोल.
नहीं.
नाम तो सुना ही होगा.
नाम तो सुना होगा.
मियोकिन को K-pop पसंद है. आई विल ईमेल इन माय स्पॉटिफाई प्लेलिस्ट. ब्रो ऑनेस्टली इसको K-pop पसंद नहीं है. अगर सेंड करना है प्लेलिस्ट मेरे को भेज. आई हैव बीन टू कोरिया एंड आई एंजॉय. तू दिखता कोरियन है, तू है नहीं.
See, I'm
you know nothing about Korea or Korean culture. देखो ये भी नहीं पता है. देखो एक चुटकी सिंदूर भी नहीं पता है. नहीं I do. शादी हो रही है क्या? नहीं. इससे पहले का सुपर चैट मत मिस करो. यस अधिराज पाल, सॉरी मैं बाहर गया था. आई एम द यंगेस्ट इंडियन टू ऑथर अ बुक ऑन क्रिप्टो करेंसी. आई डीएमड यू द लिंक ऑन इंस्टा. यस ब्रो अधिराज, आई विल गो चेक इट आउट. यार कांग्रेचुलेशंस फॉर बीइंग द यंगेस्ट इंडियन ऑथर टू टॉक अबाउट क्रिप्टो करेंसी. काफी इंप्रेसिव है. मेरा भी मैं अच्छी तरह एनालाइज करके दूंगा व्यूज बिकॉज आई एम वेरी डीपली इन्वॉल्व्ड विद द ब्लॉकचेन यूनिवर्स. हाउ टू गेट इनटू अ टीम 4 अननोन को ले लो, बेस्ट टीम है. सर यू स्किप माय प्रीवियस सुपर चैट. नहीं आ रहा धीराज, अभी तो पढ़ा. आई डिडंट मीन टू स्किप इट. थोड़ा वो जब बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाता है मुश्किल हो जाता है. चैट इतना स्पैम होता है. लोको वर्सेस यूट्यूब. सी ईच प्लेटफॉर्म हैज इट्स प्रोज एंड कॉन्स. यूट्यूब इज इजीली एक्सेसिबल, हर एक के फोन पे ऑलरेडी रहता है. एंड देन यू हैव पीपल लाइक लोको जो छोटे स्ट्रीमर्स को भी सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, जो एक स्टडी इनकम दे रहे हैं, एक ग्रोथ अपॉर्चुनिटी दे रहे हैं. सो यू कैन बिल्ड योर करियर अराउंड स्ट्रीमिंग. यूट्यूब डज नॉट ऑफर दैट. तो अभी अगर आप यूट्यूब पे जस्ट स्टार्ट कर रहे हो तो आपको काफ़ी स्ट्रगल होगा बिफोर यू कैन मेक अ लिविंग आउट ऑफ इट. बट अगर आप लोको पे करो, वेरी अर्ली ऑन यू हैव द अपॉर्चुनिटी टू स्टार्ट मेकिंग अ सस्टेनेबल इनकम. इतना कि एटलीस्ट आपको सैलरी मिले और आप अपना घर चला सको. तो इसलिए एवरीथिंग हैज इट्स प्रोज एंड कॉन्स. अगर सत्यन यहाँ है, सत्यन आई वांट टू लीक द पैकेज दैट केम. इफ यू अलाउ ओनली देन. एक पैकेज लीक. गैरी व्हेन आर यू मैरिंग? अब तेरी बारी बोल. ये भी शादीशुदा है, शर्म करो.
व्हाट शर्म करो? यू शर्म करो.
अरे दे डोंट नो यू आर मैरिड. तू शर्म कर. तूने कंटेंट अपना ठीक से बना.
यू कैन कीप मी गैरी. क्यों? व्हाट्स अप क्यों? लॉन्ग टाइम नो सी ब्रदर.
बट शादी के बारे में तो बता.
हैपेंड, गॉन, ओवर, टाटा, बाय बाय, खत्म.
खत्म हो गया. गैरी की शादी हो गई. हाउ टू फाइंड टीममेट्स? ब्रो अ ग्रेट प्लेस टू फाइंड टीममेट्स इज आवर डिस्कॉर्ड चैनल. हमारे डिस्कॉर्ड पे बहुत टीममेट्स मिलेंगे.
व्हाट इज द डिस्कॉर्ड चैनल?
globalesports.com/discord. मैं यहाँ लिंक डाल देता हूँ.
Easy. globalesports.com/discord.
यस कम टू नागालैंड.
तुम नागालैंड.
ठीक है. मैंने कभी ऐसा सोचा नहीं है नागालैंड का. मुझे वजह दो, मैं खुशी से आ जाऊंगा गाइस. मेरे को ऐसे नागालैंड आने में प्रॉब्लम नहीं है.
Certain never message back.
एक
Bro,
सेकंड
you want to
बहुत
leak-
फास्ट जा रहा है.
You want to leak video something?
व्हाट ओ ये देख, लीक कर दो. ठीक है, लेके आ टी-शर्ट. लेके आ.
Hey, no,
अच्छा
we'll
लीक
get
नहीं
in
करेंगे.
trouble.
टी-शर्ट लेके आ.
We'll get in trouble.
अरे तू टी-शर्ट लेके आ. ला रहा है. लीक नहीं करेंगे बट झलक तो दिखा ही सकते हैं. फ्री फायर में फोन अननोन को ले लो, बेस्ट है. अरे फोन अननोन इज अ रियली गुड टीम. डेफिनेटली. राइट नाउ हमने वही डिसाइड नहीं किया अगर हम टीम उठाना चाहते हैं या नहीं. दिखा. ये तू दे रहे जल्दी.
I just thought.
देखो ये बहुत जल्दी रिलीज होने वाला है. बहुत जल्दी रिलीज होने वाला है. अभी पता चलेगा बहुत जल्द, कुछ दिन बाद.
Gary is right here, bro.
Sir, what about the tryouts? Gary, you want to take this question?
No.
Sir, is Fnatic leaving India? Yes, मैंने खबर सुनी है कि Fnatic is planning to leave India because primarily उनका roster PUBG Mobile का था. बाकी सब games में उनके already international rosters है and the viewership isn't as good as what PUBG was. तो I don't know, you know, और क्या मैं बोलूँ, because honestly बहुत सारे इंटरनेशनल ऑर्ग्स जो आना चाहते थे या जो आ चुके हैं वो चले जाएंगे अगर व्यूअरशिप नहीं बढ़ेगा. आई थिंक फ्री फायर में अभी काफ़ी व्यूअरशिप है बट पबजी के जाने से काफ़ी व्यूअरशिप ड्रॉप हो गया है. तो टीम्स हैव बीन स्ट्रगलिंग एंड फनाटिक वाज द फर्स्ट. आई डोंट नो अभी और कितने ऑर्ग्स आएंगे. होपफुली दे विल स्टे हियर बट डोंट वरी यार, हम कहीं नहीं जा रहे. हम यहाँ है. जब तक हम है फिकर नॉट. Any piece of advice to new teams and orgs entering esports? Grind करो. Just short term gains मत देखो. Don't go in to make short term money and short term gains because नहीं होगा. You will struggle for years and not make money. But if you survive through that, उसके बाद बहुत ही epic होगा. तो just sustain करो, hold करो, थोड़ा grit दिखाओ, determination दिखाओ and just hold on. उतना ही बोलूँगा. Gary is too funny. Gary, you're too funny. Gary is gone. Gary का कोई फायदा नहीं है. International Olympics head said that they will not include violent type of games. देखो Olympics सिर्फ एक टूर्नामेंट है. Yes, it is one of the biggest sport titles, but the whole purpose of why Olympics was made was to bring nations together. अगर सब country और region साथ आके खेलेंगे तो ही कुछ होगा. इसीलिए the sports that they usually include in Olympics are very friendly. They inculcate that brotherhood ताकि सब साथ में आके unity में खेले एक game and represent their country and just bring in that togetherness. तो इसीलिए I stand by the decision कि violent games नहीं होने चाहिए. Now, what that means for esports and esports क्या नहीं बढ़ेगा? Definitely not. देखो, cricket is also not in Olympics, but इतना बड़ा है. So you don't need to be an Olympic sport to be big. But yes, the fact that esport titles are coming in Olympics is big. हाँ, PUBG नहीं आएगा, CS नहीं आएगा, इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि Olympics में esports नहीं आएगा. Esport titles आएंगे, racing titles आएंगे, sport titles आएंगे और काफ़ी non-violent titles आएंगे. तो esports as an ecosystem is still growing. And वो तो obviously चलेगा ही. Going to hire Total Gaming, bro. Total Gaming will hire me. अभी इतने सब्सक्राइबर्स है वो तो मुझे अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल जाए टोटल गेमिंग के साथ वही काफ़ी एपिक है. आई थिंक नो बट अजू भाई काफ़ी ग्राइंड कर रहे हैं एंड ही इज़ बिन डूइंग अ वेरी गुड जॉब. तो प्रॉप्स टू हिम. इट्स नॉट ईजी गेटिंग, मेंटेनिंग एंड ग्रोइंग फ्रॉम 20 million सब्सक्राइबर्स. या बहुत ही मुश्किल है. Sir, what about content creators? I have learned Sony Vegas Pro also. That's great. I think knowing how to edit is one of the most important tools. अगर आप edit करना जानते हो तो आपकी content creation journey काफ़ी आसान हो जाएगी. इसीलिए मैंने भी editing से शुरू किया and मैंने सीखा पहले editing कैसे करते हैं, उसके बाद बाकी सब आता है. But knowing how to edit is very important. Sky को बुलाओ. नहीं यार, अभी तो content house पे है वो, so maybe next stream पे. हाँ चलो, आई थिंक यहाँ अभी के लिए वी आर गोइंग टू टेक अ ब्रेक. आई एम गोइंग टू कॉल इट ऑफ. ये काफ़ी लंबा सेशन रहा है. नाउ आई नीड टू गो गेट बैक टू वर्क. तो थैंक यू वेरी मच एवरीवन फॉर ट्यूनिंग इन. आई होप आप लोग को ये सेशन अच्छा लगा एंड आई एम ग्लैड आई गॉट द अपॉर्चुनिटी टू हैव अ कॉन्वर्सेशन विद यू ऑल एंड कंटिन्यू इवन आफ्टर द पैनल वाज ओवर. अगर आपको पैनल के बारे में कोई भी क्वेश्चंस है कमेंट्स पे लेट मी नो. आई कीप रिप्लाइंग टू द कमेंट्स. या तो इंस्टाग्राम पे आके आई होस्ट अ Q&A, वहाँ आके वी कैन कंटिन्यू दिस कॉन्वर्सेशन. बट अभी के लिए मैं एमी की ETW डायलॉग चुराने वाला हूँ. चलो बाय.
No.
तू भी बोल दे बाय.
चलो bye.